My parents criticized my parenting, so I told them they should have never been parents.
Yeah, you suck.
Hi, first time posting. I, 16 male, was born when my parents were very young. Like my mother was 16 and my father was 17. Both families decided it would be the best for me if effectively my maternal grandparents raised me and my bio parents got to live their lives. That is not to say I didn't know who my actual parents were. This is not one of those situations like in movies where the mother pretends the daughter's child is actually her own. I and everyone knew who my progenitors were. By the way, this comes from Saving Carpenter 24/9 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, my father moved away when he was 18, but my mother remained in my grandparents' house until she was 23 and I was around 7. But that doesn't mean we were close. She always treated me like an annoying little brother rather than a son. She didn't like spending time with me, never attended any of my school functions or showed interest in my academic work, or took me to do any fun activities. Whenever I was talking about my day, she would roll her eyes or change the topic to shut me up.
Dang.
When she moved out, I barely saw her. She just came to family gatherings and said an awkward hi and couldn't even look at me. It hurt, even if by that point I already considered my grandparents to be more my parents than her. My father was still living away. They weren't together at this point, but would come once or twice a year to visit his own family around the holidays and always made at some point to visit me and take me to do some sort of fun activities like going to the cinema or my favorite restaurant, things like that. But to me, he was more like a strange man than a dad because when I compared him to my friends' fathers who picked them up from school every day and went to their games and played with them on the weekends, I didn't understand why this man who I saw maybe twice a year was supposed to be the same. Anyway, fast forward to a year ago, my father moved back to the same city where we live. He tried to hang out with me more often, but I wasn't really interested, although sometimes I complied. I don't hate him, I just don't know him. I even had a bedroom in his apartment, which is cool because he lives in the center of the city. Behind everyone's back, both my parents had started to hang out. And a couple months later, they announced they were pregnant.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
they were dating. They were pregnant.
Come on.
They announced they were dating.
No.
It was a shock. They asked me to move in with them to my father's apartment, which I refused. But they argued that we could finally be a family.
Aww.
I mean, I understand. No, like I understand what they're saying, but they can't. Like, I understand why they had to give OP up, or to an extent, give him up to the grandparents. But you can't come in after like a while and say, "Oh, I want to be a family now."
At the bare minimum, they have to recognize, hey, I know we didn't raise you. And
we
two,
would like to develop a relationship with you.
Yeah. The truest way is hey, can we start to build a relationship with you with the goal of getting to the point where it would make sense for you to live with
Exactly. You can't just force that.
Yep. Or can you? If you're a crazy Reddit person.
I was about to start an argument on them when my grandma just said that changing school districts would be very inconvenient and I could lose all my friends, and the situation de-escalated by itself, although my parents didn't let go of the idea. Good on the grandma. My parents asked for me to spend more time with them, and this was particularly frustrating because even though I never had any particular tension with my father, I most definitely do with my mother. I don't like being around her, and she's treated me poorly my whole life. And I feel like she's now only trying to save face because she knows my dad wants me there. Now, on to the issue. Last week, they both came into my grandparents' house. They announced they were going to buy a house nearby in the neighborhood so that I could finally move in with them. I immediately said no. And when they said that changing schools would no longer be an issue, I found myself in a corner and I said that was never the problem and that I just simply do not see them as my parents and don't want to live with them. That's when they dropped the bomb on us. Not only did they want me to move in with them so we could be a family, but my mother was pregnant. So we were going to be a bigger family even. I was freaking right. I misspoke, but I was right.
Nice job.
You're welcome. I was shocked and I blew my lid on them. I told them they were the worst parents in the world and that they abandoned me for 16 years, and now they were going to bring another child into the world and do the same to them. And they never apologized for treating me like garbage and like a mistake they made and making me feel like I wasn't supposed to exist and dumping me to be other people's responsibility. And only now that they feel like they care, they want to be my family.
Wait, I have a conspiracy theory.
What?
So, do we 100% know that OP is the biological child of both the mother and the father?
I mean, it seems so.
We're 100% on that? Because it doesn't make sense to be hating on the kid that you have. Like, I don't know what the culture is. There was one story we read. They didn't like one kid because they weren't born in 2000, the year of the dragon. There's another story they read that they wanted them to be a son, not a daughter.
Well, I think
I'm just trying to put my finger on it.
They were 16, and they had this kid, and now it's been 16 years, and they're like adults now. They're like 37 to 39.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, now we're ready to be parents, which is understandable, but you can't force that on a 16-year-old who you did,
okay,
you left for 16 years.
Because it would have been, it's like the dad seems, dad likes the child more, the mom hates the child. That would mean the dad would have had to have the baby with another woman. And it's like, would the mom really like still be like, oh yeah, I'm her mom, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
I missed that part.
Yeah,
the young age.
they were 16, they were kids, they didn't feel they could raise a child, and now they're coming back as, mid-30s and saying like, oh, we're having another kid, we want you to come back. But you can't just tell someone to do that.
Or can you? If you're a terrible Reddit person. Oh yeah.
My mother screamed back at me, telling me I was a brat and that she wasn't going to make the same mistakes twice raising her second baby. I told her she never raised me to begin with. And my father said that they were young and trying to do the best they could. Guess what? The best you could was pretty effing bad. I stormed out and went to my room, sobbing. I've been very depressed for the last week. They have both called and texted since, but I ignored them. My grandparents agree with me that I shouldn't move and that my parents shouldn't expect me to be all loving and forgiving after how they've treated me. However, they believe they are starting a new chapter of their lives now, that they are more mature and stable, which I guess leaves me behind. That's so sad.
Yeah.
I've also what?
Oh, I was going to say my parents kind of did that. Like when my mom and dad turned around 32-ish, they had my little brothers because they were like, oh, this is going to be like a new beginning for us. Well, me and Tate were like, what does that mean for us? What do you mean new beginning?
Yeah. No, it's just, I think that like it's not that they did anything inherently wrong in needing help raising a child when they were children. It's just the expectation that everything is normal now when they haven't done any work.
Although, put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Now, totally reasonable to be like, okay, yeah, the parents are, the grandparents are raising the child, but would you not treat them like a little brother, a little sister?
What do you mean?
Like, the OP's mom and dad seem to just basically like discard or actively like dislike her.
I mean, I don't think that's good. I'm just saying like from an understanding point, I don't think it's a good thing, but they were children who got a lot of responsibility thrust on them. And I'm just saying like they cannot expect like their child to just be okay with that.
100%.
And just forget about it.
Yeah. And it's like, it is, I think, hard to, I totally get them having like the grandparents raise the children, but it's like, you didn't have to be a jerk.
You didn't have to be a jerk about it.
And now you can't expect them to love you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry. I've also had time to think that I'm the same age my mother was when she had me, and what a huge responsibility that must have been. However, I still can't forgive them. Am I the a-hole for the way I reacted to the news? And edit. Thank you, everyone, for the verdict. Actually, before we read that verdict, what do you think? Because I have thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, and the question
am
for
I
the
the
verdict
a-hole
is
for for that response of like kind of that outburst.
No, I think like, you know, number one, they're the adults, you know, who are acting stupidly, expecting you to just like let go of all of that pain from your childhood, you know, and have you do that, and like have you accept them as parents, like, oh, like we're just gonna be this perfect happy family and nothing went wrong and everything's great. And yeah, I think it's a crazy expectation from the parent side, and the fact they don't even acknowledge, they actively don't acknowledge the hurt that they've caused OP is crazy.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Edit. Thank you everyone for the verdict of not the a-hole.
Boom.
I feel better and it has somewhat cleared my mind. Also, huge thank you to all that are commenting about how awesome my grandparents are. I'm planning on showing them this post so they can see how much everyone can see the amazing kind of people they are, and they deserve all the love and appreciation I could possibly give them and more.
I love that.
I've also come to the conclusion that I have a lot of resentments and unanswered questions, as well as misgivings about the future that I need to set straight with primarily my father.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to know how I grew up, and I need to know why he abandoned me. I also feel like I need to warn him about my mother because I'm worried about my sibling being abandoned and mistreated like I was. So I'm preparing a list of points and questions that I want to bring up to him, and we'll meet tomorrow or the day after, and I'll confront him with all of these to hopefully get some sort of closure or resolution. And there is an update.
Very mature.
Yeah.
Love
I
how
think that's
mature
fair.
OP is.
Yeah.
I think there is a world where your mom is going to be an okay parent for this new child. But I think it's fair to air the grievances of like, this is how I was raised or not raised. And this is how I was treated. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she'll be a present parent.
Yeah.
But the, you know, inner, I don't even know how to.
Well, she hasn't dealt with anything, it seems.
Yeah.
In concern to OP.
Yes.
That is all still up in the air.
Yeah, to your point, you know what? I think she would give the other kid the golden child syndrome and be like, "Oh, you're so perfect," and
You're
like
perfect.
spoil
And
the
he's like,
child, rotten,
Yeah.
evil.
Rotten, evil child.
Ugh.
But there is an update.
Oh,
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your responses. It really helped a lot. It's been an emotional couple of days, and a lot has happened. My mind is a little bit dispersed, but I felt like I owed you all an update, and I'm trying to be as clear as possible. First of all, I shared my post with my grandparents, and they were so surprised.
Oh.
They were very happy to see how many people commented about how amazing they are, and I, in turn, also took the opportunity to tell them how much I loved them and how much I appreciated everything they have ever done for me.
sweet.
That's lovely. Oh, it also seems, I mean, like the grandparents were standing up and looking after OP in terms of like OP not wanting to live with the parents.
Yes, which
like
is
the
great.
fact that they just kind of jumped in. We're like, oh, the school district.
Yeah.
They are my real parents, and nothing is ever going to change that. There were some tears, and they told me they loved me, and they were proud of me.
Aw.
This is so sweet.
Yeah.
They never thought of themselves as doing something special or worth so much appreciation. They were just taking care of family, but they are the best. After that, I started trying to collect my thoughts and arranging a meeting with my father to discuss things that were bothering me. Why did he abandon me? Why did he think he could just reappear in my life like that I wasn't going to move in with them, and I didn't consider them my parents because they never acted as such, etc. We met at a park, and he went to hug me, but I stepped away, and he looked hurt. And he just apologized for what happened the other day and went into the speech about how we could try to transition into living together part-time and respect my boundaries, and I went blank. I didn't expect for him to talk, so I pulled out my phone and just showed him the post I made the other day, and he started reading it in silence. After a while, he read it all and some responses, and he just asked me if this was true, and I said yes. And he asked me if I had questions. He would answer honestly. I asked, what happened when I was born? And he told me that when my mother got pregnant, all options were laid on the table. Termination, adoption, marriage, grandparents taking care of me, only one of my parents taking me in. My mother was deathly scared of adoption because some religious group had told them horror stories about dead babies and mothers being attackers or some BS like that. so she wanted to give me up for adoption, but my father refused. He couldn't bear the idea of having his child living somewhere and never seeing him again. So he proposed to take me in as sole caretaker and leaving his college plans to stay in our city. But his parents weren't thrilled with his plan and pushed him to go to college so that he could provide economically for me. They offered themselves to take care of me, but they were significantly older than my maternal grandparents. She was an only child, and at the time, they were just 40, whereas my father has 5 older siblings, and his parents were already in their 60s. And since taking care of me meant taking care of my mother for a while as well, my maternal grandparents decided it was the best decision for them to take me.
Dude, imagine sitting at the park just getting all of this lore from your dad.
Like, Opie's just like,
dude.
And the dad's like, yes. And there was a moment where we were thinking about this, and I was going to take you in, but then we didn't. And Opie's like,
Kind of 16?
that's heavy.
It's real life.
Heavy.
Yeah, I didn't start getting like parent lore until like 2 years ago, like 23.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, immediately after I was born, my mother had postnatal depression, and the doctors advised them to not completely remove them from her side, or more damage to our relationship could be done, and my grandparents wanted her to eventually love me as a son. One thing to note about my father that I didn't mention in my OP is that even when he was in college, he worked part-time to pay child support, and once he started working in a law firm, he started sending more money to my grandparents and set up a college fund for me, which was news for me.
Oh.
A little annoying that no one told OP that.
Yeah.
I mean, why is no one? I mean, it's like OP's father has been actively helping financially.
Yeah.
OP's whole life, like actively cares about OP.
Yeah.
And no one told OP that.
Yeah, it's like
I would be pretty devastated to learn that.
Yeah, give OP all the knowledge to, like, you don't have to sway OP's opinion, but just give them the facts.
Yeah. Like, it's like the good facts. This is not like, oh, your father doesn't care about you. This is your father actively cares about you and is working extremely hard to provide.
I agree. Kind of whack.
My grandparents don't know about this, but my mother does. So I don't know what to do with this information. So it means that she kept it from her.
Weird
that makes sense.
But also weird that the dad didn't tell
the grandparents.
Like, hey, by the way, I'm like building up a college fund.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't
that be relevant information for the people that are actually caring for the kid?
Right? So that way, like they're like, what if they're like, oh, we gotta, scrape by to like make sure we're saving up for college. Meanwhile, he's like got this whole college fund and
like,
like,
got it. Well, now they have double the college fund.
Let's go.
I mean, okay.
More college. You can get 2 degrees with that.
There we go.
My father thought of me all the time he spent away and believed he had left me with a happy family and that he was working to give me a better life.
Oh.
But I followed his life through social media. He went to parties, vacations, had girlfriends, and did lots of fun stuff, and barely had any contact with me. I asked him, why couldn't he have made more of an effort to be part of my life? Like, I understand if he needed to study in another city and work there, but it's no effort to call or text. Coming once a year just doesn't cut it. He looked ashamed and apologized to me, and I took advice that I saw in a lot of the comments here that I would forgive, but not forget.
Yeah.
Which I think is that's the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe we can build a relationship going forward, but it will always be marked by his actions in the past. If he hasn't been my dad for 16 years, he can't start now. He seemed sad, but accepted my conditions. I then told him about my concerns about my mother, told him how bad he treated me as a child, that I did not think she would be a good mother for my sibling, and that I wanted to go low/no contact with her. He said that after he left for college and they broke up, he would call her once in a while to check up on things, but that quickly ended, and when he came back, she explained to him that her and I had a great bond. And even though we didn't see each other daily, it was because I was in those teenage years, and that she loved spending time with me and had been a very hands-on mom. Wow. Just full-on lies.
Full-on
liar. Lies.
Liar.
Wow.
Plants for hire.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She'll lie to get whatever
she wants. Yeah.
Crazy.
I told him that all that she said was a lie and that she never cared for me. He obviously read the stuff from my post, but I also told him other things, like when she would ask my grandparents for babysitting money for taking care of me. asking your parents for babysitting money for taking care of your own child.
Dude,
What?
what are we talking about?
Sort of like trying to think of a scenario here with producing. It's coming. It's happening. It's like, hey, John.
Hey.
You know what? Forget it. I don't have one.
I like
wanted
the
one
effort.
so bad, but I didn't have one.
I know. I like the effort.
We'll come
though.
back to it. Or that she would call me annoying or disgusting to my face when we still lived together, and that severely messed me up. He was very serious and said he would talk to her, but that he would not allow a child to be treated like that, and that he was sorry for letting that happen to me. Lastly, he told me I would have a bedroom in his house, but he understood perfectly that I would never live there. He was quite emotional at this point and got choked up at this point, and I got choked up at this point when he asked me if, even if I didn't consider him my father, I would consider his baby my sibling. I said of course, and that I planned to be a very active part in their life if I could. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
He started crying and asked if he could hug me, and this time I agreed. I'm happy about the resolution of our conversation, and I really do believe he will be a good parent for my sibling. Once again, thanks to everyone who commented and took interest in my story. I don't know if I'll update again. I have a feeling they will.
Ooh.
There it is. They have an update. They've got an update.
This is actually the beginning of building a
Yes.
parent-child bond.
Honest communication, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to force you to have it. I'm leaving that line open, but you pick it up whenever you're ready."
Yeah. I like that he said like, "Hey, I have a room for you, but I totally understand and expect that you're not gonna live here. It's just this is ready for you if or when you would like to be here."
But get in here update. So a lot of you warned me about the crap hitting the fan, so to speak, when my bio mother talked with my dad, and today that's exactly what happened. My father sent me a text early in the morning warning me about the fact that he was going to confront my mother and that he didn't want anything to splash to me, and reassured me that he believed me completely. And I braced myself because I expected for her to call me, berating me or something. I truly don't care about what she thinks, but these past few days have been emotionally draining, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for another full-blown out confrontation. Using Reddit to vent has been helpful, though. After a few hours, my mother pulled into our house and let herself in, screaming like mad and calling me every name in the book, saying I had ruined her relationship and asking me why had I been blabbing about private matters that don't concern anybody. They concern LP.
Yeah.
I said that my childhood matters to me, and my father, who is also going to be the future father of her child, and that her actions ruined her relationship.
Facts.
She called me an a-hole and said I was the biggest effing mistake she's ever done in her life. I didn't know she could still hurt me, but that was a low blow. And I said that I would do anything in my power to take her baby away from her because she was a monster of a mother. Oh.
That's so tough.
This is tough.
Oh.
How can you be together with someone for that long and then now just realize this, you know?
Her dad like dating the mom, and now
I think they just recently started dating though.
Yeah, they're just like they're probably different. I mean, they literally were 16.
Yeah.
And now they're probably like they're
30s.
32.
Oh, so they weren't together through that whole time?
No.
So
gosh, I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
You're okay. It's okay.
You don't have to explain it.
John,
okay.
so they were 32.
Yes.
They're like in their like mid-30s now. And mid-30s and
that's just such age haters. God damn.
No.
It is mid. Like midlife.
They're having a midlife crisis.
Yep.
And they get back together, and this dad is just now finding out like who this woman is.
Yep.
That he's, having a kid with. And he's like, damn, I don't want that life.
Yeah.
And she still sucks. She hasn't grown up at all.
Literally not at all. Stayed terrible.
We were screaming at this point, and my grandparents, who were in the backyard, must have heard us and entered the room and separated us and heard part of the fight. I was fighting tears, and my grandma walked me upstairs to my room as my grandpa screamed at my mother, how dare she speak to me that way. A+ grandparents.
Let's go.
Because, oh my God, what, like, the worst thing she could have possibly said. And the fact that she's been like, oh, you have to move in with us. You have to move in with us. When it's literally just been to look good in front of Opie's dad.
Exactly.
My grandma soothed me a little and then went to confront my mother with my grandpa. I heard from the door how they ripped my mother a new one. They confronted her for telling me the things that she did, for treating me like garbage all my life, and for lying to my father. They told her how disappointed they were in her for always treating me with disgust, and how many excuses they made for her, thinking she was a child trying to raise a child. But she was now an adult, and her behavior continued the same. And they said they were on the path to disinheriting her.
Got him!
That's how you do it.
No money for you.
My mother was screaming about how hard it had been for her and how much she hurt, but my grandparents were having none of that. They raised me, and she was allowed to have the life she wanted and to take all the decisions she wanted without repercussions ever. And I even heard them say that if there was any custody battle ensued over the baby to come, they would take the father's side unless she radically changed everything about her behavior. Good on these grandparents. They are not taking any crap.
They're doing the thing.
Mhm.
They're great parents.
Great parents. They are grand
Oh,
parents.
they actually are grand.
Yeah. They went outside for a while, so I don't know what they said, but eventually they came into my room, and my grandparents looked extremely serious, and my mother was red and crying and apologized to me through gritted teeth.
Jeez.
How embarrassing to be, like, told off by your parents when you're an adult because you can't be nice to your kid.
Literally, your 16-year-old is far more mature, emotionally intelligent, empathetic, etc. Than you.
Way more. I didn't respond, but my grandparents said on her behalf that she was going to start therapy immediately, and she was no longer welcome in the house. I called my father after the debacle, and he was furious. He talked to my mother before going to work meeting thing or something, and he confronted her about everything. Apparently, it was nasty, but he was willing to work on the relationship for the good of the baby on the condition that my mother would also be working on improving her relationship with me so that whenever I visited them, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. After he left, he made her promise she wouldn't contact me until they talked again. But there's my mother for you folks. I asked him to think on what's better for himself and for the baby, and to not hold today against my mother if he doesn't want to. Just so mature. Opie's like, you know what? You don't even have to, like, don't worry about our fight. I want you to do what's best for you and your kid.
Yeah, just WOP.
W's.
W's.
Also, a thing that has come up a lot in the comments of my previous posts is that my progenitors only want me as a babysitter, and that I should steer away from them and baby for my own sake. But I want to make a point about that. I can't say anything about their intentions. I know nothing about them. But I am very excited to have a sibling. Growing up, I had a very small family. It was just my grandparents and me. On my paternal side, I had a huge family with aunts, uncles, and cousins. But whenever I went there, I always felt like the odd one out.
Oh.
They tried to include me and invited me for Easter, Christmas, barbecues and stuff, but I didn't really know them. And although they were nice, I always felt like I had a big sign on my head that said, "That kid John had in high school." I can't wait to have a sibling and love them and always be there for them and show them what a family is. I want to be that person that they can always rely on for them, and I want to feel that bond. With someone, so even if I have my misgivings about my parents, and I do a lot, I do not about being a big brother.
Oh.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I hope this is the last update and there is no more family drama in the future. Thank you all for your help. Having this site to air out my frustrations and having a community to back me up and give me feedback has been amazing. And there is an update.
Whoa.
There's another one. Well, first of all, my grandparents are as cool as ever. I have not moved, nor intend to, and we've spent Christmas together. It was all great. We love that. My father and I have bonded more, and we are in a better place. He is paying for my therapy, and we've done a couple of sessions together, and we're in a much better place. We love this. He's like, okay, I'll pay for messing your life up.
Yeah. I messed your life up. Might as well pay to fix it.
You're welcome. He feels sorry for having lost my childhood years, but understands that he cannot get them back, and instead of pushing a relationship with me, he is letting me have space to build as much of a relationship that I want with him, which takes the pressure off me, to be honest.
Yeah.
We love that. We've kind of bonded over my little sister. We found out it's going to be a girl.
Aww.
And I helped him paint the nursery and build the furniture, which I enjoyed a lot. He and my egg donor are a bit of a weird situation. They live together, but they're not together. My father is extremely angry about everything that she did and said to me when I was little, and what I related in my previous post, and he's wary about what kind of person she really is going to be with my baby sister. They're going to couples therapy and individual therapy, and although I see her in passing because I go sometimes to my father's house, she is just barely polite with me, and I can tell she feels like I'm the one who screwed up her opportunity to play house with her second baby. I try to pay her no mind, but the only thing that worries me is if she eventually is going to poison my little sister's mind against me or subject her to a similar mistreatment like she did to me, because she's also going to be born around all of this tension. The silver lining is that everyone else is showing up for my little sister, and that means I've also connected much more with my father's side of the family. They've always been kind to me, but I always felt weird around them. But now that things with my father seem to be settling into a more comfortable way, I feel like I belong into his family more, and I can hang out with my cousins and aunts and uncles more. Sorry if it's not much of an update, but here's how things lay at the moment. And there is yet another update.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a little bit better that the father's not actually with her, but it's just kind of co-parenting.
Yeah, and there was a story I was just remembering. It was crazy. It was a similar situation. It was the guy, his basically ex-wife was pregnant with a baby, and she would do crazy stuff like steal from his business and then call the cops on him and say it was him and stuff. It was kind of nuts. But he was like, I want you to live here so I can make sure that you have everything you need, and you're not like, because she didn't have any way of supporting herself. So he's like, I want to make sure that you're like completely taken care of while you're pregnant. And then as soon as you have the baby, you're out the door.
Yeah.
So I was like, I get that,
Me
like
too.
making sure that you're providing as much health, safety, space, etc. while she's pregnant as possible.
Yeah, I think
sense.
that's,
For the
I think
baby.
it's, it's for the baby. It makes sense to be around
Yeah, I get
in the
I get it.
interim.
Yeah,
I get
I
it.
get it.
But I also get that there's another update.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Woo! Update after update. So it's been a while,
Oh,
but
man.
recent developments have brought me back here to give you all a bit of an update. To do a bit of a recap and avoid all of you going through the entire saga my parents had me in their teens, they left me to be raised by my maternal grandparents, which turned out to be the perfect family for me. My egg donor was somewhat in my life growing up, but she was nasty and toxic to me.
Nasty.
My dad was absent most of the time, but he was a more positive force in my life. They got together about 2 years ago and tried to make me, now 17 male, move in with them, to which I refused. And they also announced they were expecting, which set me off, and I lashed out at them. That opened the Pandora's box of lies and manipulation that my egg donor has been feeding my father for years, and created an overall messy situation with her blaming me for everything. Me and my father have been developing a stronger relationship, and we've become quite close, although I still have some barriers up. My egg donor has been giving me the cold shoulder for the remaining of the pregnancy, and my father was considering whether or not to try and continue the relationship. This brings us to present times.
Oh.
Present day. And they had a daughter named Ella, who is the most beautiful, charming, and cute baby I've ever seen.
Oh.
My father was ecstatic when she was being delivered and asked me if I wanted to remain in the hospital during the labor, which I happily agreed. It was amazing to see my sister for the first time, and me and my father both cried while holding her.
Oh.
This is so sweet. My egg donor, on the other hand, looked at her with little care and tried to pass her off to whoever was around so she wouldn't have to hold her.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, ouch. The relationship of my parents at this moment was on thin ice, but the maternal spirit that my mother thought she would develop with this child never materialized. When they got home, they received dozens of visits from relatives and friends, and my dad had to take care of everything because my egg donor refused to even be near the baby. Doctors worried she must have been suffering from postpartum depression, but she refused to accept help or counsel. I tried to be gentler to her this day to ease her mental state, but things just got worse. It all came to a head a few days ago when my father went to do the groceries and saw on the nanny cam that the egg donor was cursing at Ella, and by the time he made it home, my mother was actually hitting the baby. Oh my God. My father got furious, and she just responded by saying something along the lines, "These kids are trying to keep us apart and we should get rid of them. You need to get her out of your life."
Lock her up.
Immediately. My father called the police and had my mother forcibly taken to have a psych evaluation.
Yeah.
Good. I rushed to his side when I got wind of it. Luckily, my sister is all right. While my egg donor was in the psych evaluation, my father decided that she could no longer live under the same roof as her, and he had to take my sister away from her mother. Good.
Yep.
Immediately.
Immediate.
I came up with a plan that when my mother was released, she could go rest and start treatment at my grandparents' while I moved with my father for a while to help him out and avoid drama.
Wow.
Okay, that's really sweet.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And again, they laid the groundwork for rebuilding.
Yes.
And I feel like over this time they've been able to build that foundation for that to happen.
Yeah,
you know, which is
it's
great.
it's not out of the blue. This is like a while in the
And it seems like
they've been trying to do this for
OP's
a
the
while.
one that is like
It
suggesting
wants to do it. Yeah, it's not
great.
like the father's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
now you can move in." It's like,
Yeah.
no, OP's like, "I want to do this now."
I love it.
Ironically, all of this started because I didn't want to live with my dad, and now that's where I am. My grandparents keep me updated on my egg donor's progress. There are days when she feels truly ashamed of what she did and wants to go back to my dad, others where she's lethargic and non-responsive, and others where she seems happy and content and talks about a clean state. It seems like she may have some sort of mental illness or
Totally.
something.
Brain tumor, maybe?
Totally.
I don't think brain tumor. It seems like, it could be some more like mood disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Serious.
this is a lot of back and forth.
A serious mental health condition, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
I think.
There would be a court proceeding over the custody of Ella, but we've gotten some sort of emergency ruling granting my dad full custody at the moment. Anyway, things are a bit of a mess, and I wish things hadn't turned out the way they have. Hopefully, I will still be able to be around my sister, and whatever is happening to my egg donor can be addressed so she can get better. My grandparents are so destroyed with all that is happening with their daughter that they're having a hard time coping, but they come nearly every day to check on Ella and I, which is nice. That's lovely. My dad is also very distraught, and even though he is now categorically rejecting the idea of ever getting back with egg donor, he still feels sad to see how a mother can treat her baby, and he is mourning the relationship and the life he thought he would have. Well, yeah, because this was supposed to be kind of the second chance for him to have this,
Have a
full
kid, have a
family and
life.
stuff.
Totally. Yeah, OP put it so perfectly and maturely. He's mourning the relationship,
Yeah.
not like, oh my
Not
gosh, I
what-
want to
yeah.
get back to get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's mourning something that you never had.
Yeah.
Really. But you know what you do have? Us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
Join us.
Join us. But there is a little bit left. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just once again, blown away by OP's maturity.
I know. So much happened.
Yeah. As tragic as the events that went down, I do love to see a healthy, organic relationship being
Yeah.
built between OP and his father and the baby. And I think that long term, a lot of great things will come of that relationship. And hopefully with the psych evaluation, they figure out what is going on with the mom and get her some treatment to
I hope
help her
so.
get better.
Yeah, because this is like it seems like there's definitely something going on.
Super serious, I think.
Yeah.
Super serious.
Definitely good idea to get the psych evaluation, all that.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
probably keep her away from the kid for a while.
Keep her. Hopefully, he gets like full custody and
Yes.
everything else.
Well, it seems like got emergency custody.
Yeah.
I don't see why they would give custody back to her
Totally.
at some, at any point.
Totally.
But there's a little bit left.
Oh, let's go.
On my part, I've been busy with school, and even though I try to understand that my mother is sick, I can't seem to forgive her for what she's done to Ella. If this was her first incident of being negligent or violent, I might be more understanding, but I feel like she's going to be as toxic to my sister as she has always been to me, and I don't want her near us for a second. And that is the end of that story.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. And it seems like as terrible as the events that happened were to get here, this is now the best setup possible.
You've
Everyone
got a
is
great
where they should be.
support system now, and it was hard to get that, but you have it now.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Man, oh man.
What a story.
What a story.
Yeah, Kimberly Fine says OP is handling it like a champ, and it speaks greatly to his character that he's retained this level of empathy despite the circumstances.
Yes.
Agreed.
Also, very slight detail.
Yes.
He went from a transition from mom to like egg donor
Egg donor,
a lot,
yeah.
and then back to mom.
That's true.
So I think that maybe it's like little like
complicated feelings.
Some kind of complicated feelings, and I think a manifestation or representation of his complicated relationship while still trying to understand and have empathy for his mom.
It seems like OP has a lot of empathy, and it's like I really want her to get better.
Yes, 100%.
But that is the end of that story.
That's it.
Am I the a-hole for praising my son differently than my daughter? And this is all to answer the question, is favoritism expected between a parent and their child? This first story comes from Schattenspringer, and they say, I, 52 male, am the father of 3 kids, 15 female, 7 female, and 7 male. The last 2 are twins and are very close, having the tendency to copy each other. I love and adore them all equally.
Except for one.
Except for one. Except for that one I hate.
That one.
The one that's gone. My son is not a very masculine kid and is less interested in some of my hobbies because of this. He has always preferred whatever his mother and older sister did, like baking or dancing. I have no problem with this. I love him as he is, but to be honest, I'm slightly disappointed that we haven't had the kind of amazing father-son bonding that I got to have with my grandpa. My dad died when I was pretty young, when I was a kid. Since I'm home almost all the time now, I've been seeing just how feminine his interests have gotten. Asking to help cook every meal. Can't believe cooking so feminine.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, most feminine dude I know.
Tommy, the dream. I want to wake up with you. Not with you. No.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of people tend to think of cooking in a home as feminine and then cooking in as a chef.
And Gordon Ramsay never cooks at home.
Well, no.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm I'm making fun of OP for being
yeah,
like.
I know it's silly. It's silly.
It's a little.
I also think that OP. I don't think that you necessarily have to I don't know why he's limiting himself to these activities to bond.
Exactly. If you maybe get into cooking so you can hang out with your son more.
Like I like cooking and Dad doesn't like cooking, but we bond over a lot of different things.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of acting stuff.
Yeah.
But asking to help cook every meal, helping his older sister alter secondhand clothes, and playing pretend. He's even asked to have his sister paint his nails. I'm not upset or bothered by it, but it isn't typical for young boys. I'm getting the vibe that you are a bit upset and bothered.
I don't know if it's just me, but I think he might be upset or bothered by it.
I feel like he may be both upset and bothered.
I don't know. It sounds like he's upset and bothered.
Also, I love how he's like, I can't believe my son is helping cook all the time and helping his sisters with stuff.
He's painting his nails.
What is all this feminine behavior? I want a man that does things for himself. Gosh darn it.
My father would never have done this.
Nuh-uh. If he was going to paint his nails, he'd paint them black because he's going to a metal concert.
He bruised them.
Because he bruised them, yeah. The only way my grandpa painted his nails is when he shoved them indoors intentionally to make them bleed. Well, I've been working out at home instead of at the gym because of our current circumstances. And when my son came in while I was lifting weights in the family room, he showed an interest in it. He was excited about the idea of having big muscles and tried out some of the 5-pound ones, even though he mentioned being like She-Ra.
Oh my God, I love She-Ra. I totally get him.
From some new Netflix reboot, I think.
She's so buff.
I haven't seen She-Ra.
Okay, well, there's a new Netflix reboot of She-Ra, and Adora, who is She-Ra, is like super buff.
Lady buff. It was still progress in my eyes, and it seemed like he was showing interest in masculine hobbies. I praised him and did the whole "wow, you're so strong" thing in kid talk to encourage him. When his sisters walked in, the twin, 7 female, joined in. Like I said, they have a tendency to want to do what the other is doing, so she expected the same kind of "wow, so strong" stuff. When I wasn't as enthusiastic with her and focused on my son, my oldest got annoyed and asked why I was treating them differently. I explained to her that because he hadn't taken an interest in these kind of masculine hobbies before, I wanted to foster his own identity as a boy separate from his twin sister. She accused me of being misogynistic for this! Exclamation point.
He's like, what's misogynistic about that?
Yeah, I just think boys should do boy things and girls should do girl things.
And the second I noticed my boy wanted to do boy things, I capitalized on that.
I'm gonna make sure he does only boy things from now on. Under my roof. Really quick, I feel like there is a misguided point in like wanting each of your kids to have their own thing so they don't feel like they're in someone else's shadow. But I don't feel like this is doing that.
Yes. I think that there is a benefit in exploring different, like, what you said, exploring different things with different kids so that you have like a different relationship with them. But gendering that is not necessary.
Yeah, it should just be like,
this kid is into horses.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
do horse things. This kid is into soccer.
I think it's okay for them to be into the same thing. Anyway.
Also, yeah, I mean, they're twins, so.
Obviously, they're going to want to do similar stuff, and they probably like doing that stuff together.
Yeah, I mean, they usually, I feel like a lot of parents like push doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they even dress them the same way.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, I don't know about that.
I get, like, maybe
Maybe
it's
once
just
a year
easy.
for family photos.
I don't know. Why, if you're a parent or a twin that's been dressed the same, why? I want to know.
It's cute. Obviously.
No, but like, yeah, okay.
Well, she then said that I was the a-hole for making his sister feel weaker and implying that I don't approve of his feminine interests. I don't think I'm the a-hole because there's no reason for my daughter to be inclined towards this kind of thing, but my son should be developing a more masculine personality as he gets older. When she told my wife, 41 female, she also blew up at me, saying I was acting like a cartoon misogynist. Both of them are pissed. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? And there are some notable comments and some updates. But what do we think? Is OP the a-hole?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It seems he really doesn't understand.
Like that is what is, I think, there's opportunity for learning here.
Yes.
I think. Because I think he is totally, he's blatantly unaware.
He's like, what do you mean? He's just going to be supposed to be more masculine
Yeah,
now.
boys should be boys, girls should be girls. Boys shouldn't be into, like, clothes and
Yeah, that's
cooking.
just the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I think there is a potential for
Growth.
OP to have a wider perspective on, like, interests don't have to be gendered. If my boy ends up becoming more and more interested in cooking as he gets older, that is completely fine and maybe should be encouraged.
Yeah, I think OP is the a-hole right now, but I think that his continued a-holery depends on how he handles this. Like, he's not like irredeemable a-hole quite yet.
Exactly. And the fact that he's even asking, like, am I the a-hole? I think he's actually trying to figure this out.
Yes.
I think the comments are going to be like, duh,
you're the a-hole.
And here's why.
Yeah.
Here's maybe some context of like how I grew up. And I think what I hope we get is like, hey, I had a dad that was like you, that forced me into masculine hobbies. And it actually really hurt our relationship. If he had just done this, like, as Tyler says, taken the gender out of it and just supported me as a person instead of as an object that's supposed to represent some kind of gender, maybe I would have a closer relationship with him than I do now.
Agreed. I mean, again, I said this before, just Sam and I have very deep bonds with our dad for different, in different areas.
And also, it's like, does he have a deep bond with
The 7-year-old?
the girls?
That's also true. Is he focusing on his bond with his son and prioritizing that over his girls?
Like, I'm wondering, because he's like, oh, I haven't had the chance to develop any of like my masculine hobbies with a child. So I'm wondering, like,
does he have any feminine hobbies that he would like?
Does he spend time with his daughters?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Because it seems right now we had an instance where both of his kids, his daughter and his son, came forward and were like, we have an interest, and he prioritized his son over it.
I see one comment that says not the a-hole. I would love to see if there's some silence of people saying not the a-hole at all. So maybe we put up a poll.
Sure.
I feel like it's probably going to be mostly a-hole, but
I think so.
is OP the a-hole? Yes or no? Let's see. But we do have a relevant comment that I'm going to read right now. So, notable comments. I'm slightly disappointed that we haven't had the kind of amazing father-son bonding that I got to have with my grandpa. So this is a commenter responding to OP. Commenter responds, that's on you, OP. You meet your kids where they are. I think that's a great quote. It's almost like your kids are each individual people with their own likes and dislikes. Wow, crazy. You build close relationships with love, compassion, and understanding. You are never going to get the closeness you want with your children until you accept and love them for who they are. If you keep wanting them to be different so that you can accept them, you will truly miss out. Your kids are amazing, unique, and beautiful human beings. Love them as they are. Stop with the expectations and give them unconditional love. This isn't about them. It's about you and your preconceived notions of who they should be. This would get you nowhere. And that comes from I Choose You, Snorlax. There's some more relevant comments, but I love that. That's a beautiful comment.
I think that was really well put, and I appreciate that it wasn't the same kind of attacking that we see on Reddit a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the best kind of feedback to give. Like Dixie Blue Steel says, Dixie Blue says, my dad is just a jerk. But like if we were to just say, oh, Pete, you're a jerk. How dare you? You're terrible. Yeah. Like there's nothing really to do there, you know? Like except like, oh, I guess I'm a jerk, but it's not really informing someone how to change and grow.
Yeah. Which isn't to say that I think he absolutely is the a-hole and he is a jerk in this moment. But right now he's asking why.
Why? Yeah. Am I a jerk? And
am
why?
I? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we say, yes, you're the a-hole and a jerk. And this is how you change. And I think that's what that comment does really well. Oh, no. Oh, not an expert says, you're the a-hole. My initial reaction was no. You just got excited. You found a common interest with your son. But then you get to the last few lines of the post. Quote, because there's no reason for my daughter to be inclined towards this kind of thing, but my son should be developing a more masculine personality as he gets older. The fact that she has no reason, quote, for an interest in lifting and that you think your son needs to have a more masculine identity is misogynistic and a little toxic. Plenty of professional chefs and designers are men. Your overall perception is the problem. And then deleted user. Okay, here we have some not the a-holes. Which I am curious. So right now, looking at our poll, maybe we can end it right now. 95% of you are saying OP is the a-hole. 5% or 4% of you are saying no, which is, I believe, maybe like two people. But deleted user says, F it, not the a-hole. I completely understand you as a father wanting your son to be into stereotypical masculine hobbies. It strengthens your relationship with him because you're into those things and will help him have a better relationship with other boys. But there's no reason not to show your daughter the same enthusiasm. So that's my point of advice to you. I think I understand, like, I wish he was into the things I'm into. I think I understand that, but I don't think you need to gender that.
Yeah. That's the thing. His daughter is coming to him and is into those things.
Exactly.
Like you should be excited that you get to share what you enjoy with one of your kids.
I think that is when we know it's about misogyny and not that he's just like, oh, I wish they were into the same things that I'm into so I could share this with them. It's more like, no. I only want my son to be in the same masculine hobbies that I have, not my daughter.
Yeah.
Another person says, not the a-hole. Obviously, you should support your daughters as well, but there's nothing wrong with creating some space to bond with your son man to man as well. I think there's nothing wrong with, like, let's say you're into camping or you're into motorcycles or, I don't know, throwing darts, man stuff, I guess, or what people think of like stereotypical man stuff. You could introduce your son to those and be like, hey, if you want to do this with me, sick, like have fun. You could, and as you should introduce your daughters to that stuff too.
I think that's where I would be. I think if you introduce all of your kids at the, you take them all on a camping trip and 1 out of 3 is like, I'm on board and the other 2 hate it. That's when you can start spending time camping with that one,
Yeah, exactly. Like take them all camping. If one kid is like, I love camping. The other 2 are like, I hate it. Then keep taking the kid that loves camping too. I think as parents, you introduce your kids to the wide possibilities of things to do in this world. And then when they say, I like this, you encourage them towards that.
Yeah, I agree. You are to act like high school acts for a prospective college student. Like, you're giving them all of this array of classes and options to choose for as they enter college, or they like decide what they want to go to for college, and they have all these options. You know, this doesn't really make sense.
No, I agree. It's like
Okay.
I think
Explain what I just said.
I think as a parent, you should in the same way when in high school, you know, a teacher will look at an interest, like for example, in high school for me, my teachers would be like, oh, Sam likes to make videos. Instead of doing an essay, you can make a video.
Yeah.
And they were cultivating my interest in videos while also making sure I was educated about the topic, right? So I think in the same way, good parents do this. And this is what my parents did too. Like, they knew I was interested in videos when I was like 12. And so they got me like a little flip video camera. They got me editing software. It's like, all right, let's keep feeding this interest and allow your child to explore it more when they show signs of it.
And also on the opposite, I mean, they also did that for me with acting, but on the opposite end, Sam and I were both pushed into a variety of different sports.
And
Sam and I did
Sophia
swimming.
was equally like Sophia was pushed into swimming, and Sophia
hated it. I would like
blue.
cry to get out of the pool. I hated it, but I was put in the same sports as Sam, and then I was switched to like 7 different sports until I found the one I liked, and I ended up really loving ballet. Not because, you know, I as a girl should do ballet, but because I found it much more, I don't know, I think I found it more fulfilling than I had found other sports that I had tried.
Agreed. And I
think on the opposite end, if Sam had, you know, really, you started with like gymnastics. If you had really loved gymnastics over swimming.
I did love gymnastics.
Why did you say gymnastics?
I don't remember. I honestly wish I did gymnastics instead of swimming, because I could have like done so many cool flips. Anyway, let's get into the update. May 25th, 2020, 5 hours later.
Whoa.
Added under the first posting 5 hours later. So, hey everyone, I was 100% the a-hole.
He figured that out so quickly.
Good for him.
That's great. This is amazing. He wrote a Reddit post, got tons of people saying you're the a-hole. 5 hours later, he's like, you know what? I am the a-hole.
Let's go.
That's what we want.
Growth, baby. I appreciate that some people tried to empathize and say not the a-hole or no a-holes here to be charitable. But I'm in the wrong here, and I knew it deep down while I was writing the post. Rereading it, I feel ridiculous for writing that all out. I want to say thank you, because these comments were the objective kick in the booty I really needed. I realize now that I was really out of line for saying that stuff and making my daughters feel that way. I set up a stupid false dichotomy, and my daughter was very right. I was being a misogynist. No excuse for that. I apologized to both of them and my wife an hour after I posted. I also shared this post with my little brother, who, as I mentioned in a comment, was teased for being effeminate as a kid/teen, especially after he came out. I think some people took me mentioning that as blaming him, which wasn't my intention at all. None of my behavior is his or anybody else's fault. We talked for a while, and that, along with many of the comments you guys left, made me aware of how badly I'm treating my son. My grandpa, who raised my brother and I for most of our lives, was a manly guy who I've always idolized completely. Well, my brother made me aware that my grandpa in particular made him feel crappy about his femininity and sexual orientation. He would regularly say degrading, terrible things. I was oblivious to just how much that hurt him, and it seems that I've picked up some of these same ideas. I've been such a for so long, and now that I realize how absurd some of these ideas are that I've held on to, I know how much of a disservice I've done to my boy. I shouldn't try to make him change just to protect him from bullies. In this situation, I'm the bully as much as it hurts to think. Also, we read a story a little bit ago where a whole friend group was like mostly gay and were kind of bullying OP for being straight. And like, this kind of sounds weird to say, but I think in at least certain like liberal cities, you can be bullied more for being straight than gay, which sounds kind of whack.
I don't know about liberal cities, maybe liberal circles.
Liberal circles, and like, or at least in that example. So it's like, I actually don't think you're gonna have to protect. I think a person fully embodying their identity is more accepted than ever before.
Yeah.
So I don't think like
Well, definitely than ever before.
Yeah. So I don't think OP has to worry about that.
I think that is a common fear for not homophobic parents, but parents who like weren't necessarily raised that way of like acceptance and are coming into it and are learning about accepting like queer communities and stuff through their kids. I think it's like the fear of, oh, are they going to be happy? Are they going to be able to live a good life?
And I think it's like, yeah, you are.
I mean, this is
like
as you said, like now more than ever.
The gays are thriving.
And obviously, I mean, there are still there's still things out there that the queer community is having to deal with.
Of course.
And that,
like Gabe Elijah says,
well,
it's kind of not for trans folks.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that this fear from parents who, as I said, this fear of parents who are just like starting to accept, being introduced to this queer community through their kids, I think that fear should not override like their kids
embodying their identity.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think as a parent, what you should do is you should support your child in the expression of their identity as much as you can.
Yeah. I guess, my point is I think if you had a trans child, it would be not good for you to say, oh, hide who you are because you might get attacked. It should be you supporting them.
Yeah. And also like showing them how they can be themselves safely too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
and
is
being
part
there
of it.
as an ally to make sure they don't get attacked.
And also, we realize that not everywhere is the US and not everywhere is like a place like LA.
Absolutely.
And so there is some ways that you like,
you cannot safely be out.
Yeah.
But being a person, like when you are an ally, being a person that is a safe space for your queer friends and family.
And Sophia Callan says, but he could be straight and like girly things.
This is about his. He has another. So he has two sons, one of which is gay.
Yes. I thought it was.
He said.
The brother. His brother is gay.
Oh, I missed. Okay, sorry.
Not his.
Not his. Okay,
son.
Okay, gotcha.
It's also like his son's 7. I feel like stamping him with
Yeah,
sexuality
yeah.
is maybe premature.
I thought he was saying that the older son, but I guess that it's an older daughter.
But getting in to this there is another juicy update after this, but I'm planning on talking with him about this issue and apologizing if we can this week. I want to let him choose something that he likes that we can do together. I'm not going to make the same mistakes my grandpa did. At my brother's and some Redditors' suggestions, I'm considering trying out therapy or a support group. After a mistake, huge F up like this, I think I ought to try to be the best dad and big brother I can be and to stop thinking this way, especially when I've already done so much damage. I'm sorry about the extremely long edit, but thank you for all of your responses and helping me with this issue. I showed my wife some of the comments and she also thanks you all. And there are some notable comments and another update. So, notable comment. I am impressed as hell that you are self-aware enough to know when you've effed up and are working on self-improvement. You, my anon internet friend, have restored my faith in humanity. And then another commenter, Ash Jess, says, on the off chance you see this, I know you're swarmed. Lol. Just know I think you have matured so well. Everyone needs a chance to grow, even in their middle ages. That's the fun of it. And for your son, who might like fixing up old clothes, maybe look into going into a sewing class at a craft store in your area. They're super fun and informative. Just make sure he's old enough for them. Congrats on having a super talented dude. That's what's really cool. It's like you could have a kid that's interested in stuff that's totally different than you, and then you can get into that with them and explore that with them like equally.
Yeah.
Like my dad, I got into surfing. My dad didn't really know how to surf that much, but he started going surfing with me because he wanted to support that. But we have the final update. So 15 hours later, this will probably be the final update, but while I'm overwhelmed with all the responses, I wasn't expecting so many. Thank you to everyone. I'm glad you guys were honest, but still encouraging. I'm sorry I haven't been able to reply to you all. I got a lot of really kind and personal messages, and I want you guys to know I've taken it to heart. Some people asked what I'm going to do with my daughter since it seems like I focus more on my son in the edit. My oldest wants to try Krav Maga.
Yes!
So in the coming weeks, we're hoping to find a place that'll accommodate both ages. Youngest daughter has wanted to learn how to roller skate too, so my 15-year-old may have to teach us both. I was able to talk to my son for a while this morning and apologizing for yesterday, talking about gender roles and the trauma surrounding my grandpa. Maybe something I'll talk to him more about as he gets older, but I got the message across that I support him whatever he's interested in. I asked him about She-Ra. Some commenters told me that it's fun for adults too, and we watched a few episodes together. You guys were right. My oldest and I both thought it was very cute. I asked him what he would want to do together, and he mentioned trying to alter something. I brought down a box of my old stuff from the the attic, and lo and behold, I found one of my 80s Hawaiian shirts my grandpa bought me, probably an effort to make him look like Tom Selleck. With some guidance from my oldest, we're going to try to make it fit my son with room for him to grow into it. I think it'll turn out nicely, and because it's really vintage, my 15-year-old loves it. So everything is pretty good right now. I invited my brother over, he lives a few hours away, for dinner so my son and I can make him something. I can't believe that I was feeling upset about him liking baking and everything. I'm lucky that my boy wants to help everyone. So I'm definitely the a-hole, but I'm slowly becoming not the a-hole.
Yes.
Thank you all. I showed my oldest some of my favorite comments, and she thinks they're great, and I should expect a Clown of the Year award for a Father's Day gift. Ha ha. And that is where that story ends.
So positive.
Yeah, I feel like what I love about this is it's just like, this is exactly what we want. We want someone coming in, being an a-hole, and then coming out not. We are a-hole converters to not be a-holes. Gabe Elijah says this was a cute story in terms of growth.
Really cute. This
Darn tootin' Vladimir Putin.
What?
I like saying it. Or like, that's the right tune, Kim Jong-un. A-hole converter.
That's
sounds like a corn title. City without kitties. So getting back to it, is favoritism expected between a parent and their children?
What are your thoughts in this story?
I think in this story we kind of learned that no.
Yeah,
I mean, you should actively, if there is favoritism, you should actively move against it.
Yeah, and I think it's a common thing that, I mean, from the story we learned that a lot of parents, like this dad, will place emphasis on like gender roles and exploring gendered activities with their kids. And I think that, what we learn is that you gotta just take your kids for who they are and find different things that interest all of them that you can enjoy doing with them.
Completely agree. But you know what else I agree with?
What do you?
Get into this next story.
Woo!
Am I the a-hole for threatening my family after they insulted my wife in front of me? This is the opposite energy of what we just got.
Yeah, no,
Fight back.
This is, we're about to find out if they should have defended.
I, 22 male, and my wife, 21 female, young married couple. We have been together since childhood. We've been dating since I was 17. Problem is she was met with an accident around the time she was 11. And since then, she couldn't walk. We are working on it, but it isn't promising at all. So we got married 8 months ago. My family, her family, and all of our friends joined us. My family criticized me for marrying so early and being rash. I have 2 elder brothers, and they are 2 years apart, and 1 elder sister who is 4 years older than me. They attended my wedding, and I thought they accepted her. But a few days ago, we had a family dinner because finally my eldest sister was going to get married. Everything was going good. We joked around, drank, ate, danced, etc., etc. Everything's looking beautiful. Everything's looking great, right, Sophia?
So festive, yes.
Nothing's going to go wrong.
Not a thing.
Not a thing?
Not a thing.
My wife was sleepy, so I took her upstairs and put her to sleep. Adorable. She can't handle alcohol at all. I came downstairs, and after a while, out of nowhere, my sister said that it's better if my wife is not present in her wedding. No sense is being made. Explain. I thought it was a joke, so I laughed, and she said she was serious. I asked her why. She simply said that she wants me to be beside her and not carry my wife around.
Whoa. Okay, so she's just ableist.
She
just sucks.
That's exactly what it sounded like here, Sophia.
Wow. Yikes.
I was like, what? She's not a burden. She's family. And I told her that. And she said after that, she accepts my wife, but I will end up paying too much attention to my wife instead of being with her. And it's only reasonable that a brother should always be with his sister during her wedding. What do you want to marry the brother? Like, hey, I don't want to read my vows without you right across from me.
I need you to be right next to me.
I need you to be right next to me at all times. It's like,
and you clearly can't have any sort of wheelchair.
No. If it was up to Opie's sister, I'd be like, so you're telling me all your family has to literally be right beside you,
next to you,
hovering in like a crew, like.
And clearly the only way that the wife can come is if he carries her.
Yes, that's literally the only way. Ma'am, you're making no sense. I just said that I will always be with her. She doesn't have to worry about my wife. That's when my brothers come in. They said that I've done enough for my wife, and it's time for me to do something for my sister. They said I should have married another woman instead of a burden.
Ooh.
Oh my God, they suck
They're
so
all
much.
ableist.
There's all ableist.
It's all of them.
It's all of them. It
There
is
they
all
are,
of them.
officer.
Get them.
Get him.
Arrest them.
Get him.
They're ableist.
I looked at my dad, and he just gave me a sign to calm down.
I hate the dad too.
Dad, you're an accomplice.
You're an accomplice.
But my mother joined in as well and told me that my siblings are right.
Oh my God, I hate them all.
My wife shouldn't join the wedding because I won't pay attention to my siblings and wedding and keep taking care of my wife.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know, when she's sitting there next to me during the ceremony, everyone knows I have to stare at her like, I can't keep my eyes. If everyone knows that, right?
Everyone knows that.
If my wife is here, my eyes are literally just. That's how he stares at his wife when she's in the room always. Guys,
what is your thought process?
What?
It's stupid.
what are we actually
stupid
doing here? I finally lost my cool. After hearing all this, I went sober. I said, if my wife is not invited, then I'm not invited either.
Yes.
A king amongst us.
A king. A Jake
A
amongst us.
Jake. I said, I'm leaving.
Good.
As I was going upstairs to wake my wife and leave, my family stopped me and said, I'm being unreasonable. I said, I'm not in the mood right
I'm
now.
not in the freaking mood.
Buckos.
I'm not in the freaking mood.
If I hear another offensive word, I'll do something we will all regret.
Yeah.
Dude,
Punch him.
that's how to
Freaking punch him.
I'll do something we will all regret. Another great line.
Zinger.
We've been getting so many great
Zinger.
zingers
I
lately.
hardly know her.
Nice. I always love just taking any word and
Yeah.
just saying that. It always makes it
Yeah,
funny.
It's great. It's great.
Hibiscus. I hardly know her.
Oh wait. Oh, I see.
It's anything. It works.
Oh, I actually saw one. I was study abroad. We call them women now.
That's good. Oh, our side tangents. I grabbed my wife and we went back home. And she asked why we left. I said I got urgent work in the morning. My boss called me on short notice. She bought it, but my family kept saying that I was in the wrong for threatening them. So am I the a-hole for the way I reacted?
No. Stand up for your wife. She's cool. Your family sucks. That's it.
Hey, Sophia. When people do something wrong, are there no consequences?
Wrong.
Oh, there are consequences.
This is a PSA.
PSA.
If you do something wrong, there are consequences.
That's right.
You wouldn't steal a car.
Nope. So why steal someone's joy and decency and dude, this family, I just want to slap.
I just want to
these
slap him.
people. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But we do have some relevant comments. Okay.
How relevant?
Opie says, "Don't call my father a coward." Whoa.
Whoa.
Who
called your father a coward?
Apparently somebody.
Someone called your father a coward?
A little defense going on.
Okay, well, I'm not going to call your father a coward.
That's it.
But
But
actions speak louder than no words.
ooh. Another zinger. Another line. I'm not his only child. He has other kids and a wife. I do not doubt even for a moment that he wouldn't defend me in this situation. He literally didn't?
He didn't defend you. You were in the situation and he didn't defend you. What do you mean?
I'm very confused.
He's like, no, I do not doubt that my father wouldn't come to bat for me if we were in this situation.
That exactly happened.
That happened already and he didn't come to bat for me.
Missile Gomez says, I do not even doubt for a moment that he wouldn't defend me. Did he though? He didn't. Literally exactly what we just said. Nene55 says, that's where I was going to. Just motioned him to be calm. Super supportive, that dad.
Yeah.
And then Annie Shaw says, if he won't stand up for you during a moderate argument, what makes you think he'll stand up for you if it escalates?
True.
When relationships could be broken. This was the time to take your side, not be neutral. Neutral is another word for enabling.
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 Enabler.
Caught. There he is, officer.
There
There's
he
the
is.
enabler.
Get him. Oh, the enabler strikes again.
Oh,
Tonight
he's
at
a
11.
tricksy one, that enabler.
The enabler strikes again. And they said that he would speak up, but he didn't.
He didn't.
In the time
He
when they need to,
enabled.
he enabled just like he always does.
Oh, that enabler.
Yeah, I mean, here's the question. Off of this one interaction, do we go absolutely no contact with the family,
I
Sophia?
think low contact.
Low contact, yeah.
I think low contact.
Because it's like, okay, this was super, super heinous.
Yeah.
I'm not going to totally nuke it, but I'm going to pull way back and just kind of like, you're kind of like more observing than interacting at that point.
Yeah.
Is it like, okay, is there any sign that you'll improve or be
take
good?
That back.
Or are you just going to keep plodding down this path? Which, if they keep plodding down the path,
no contact.
that's a no contact for me, dog.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Because this is egregious.
Wow. Sophia, I think you need to slow down a little bit.
I can't.
Not all of us can have these great singers. Ah!
My family who excommunicated me suddenly contacted me. What should I do? This comes from C Lengthiness 6278, and they say, please don't bash my grammar. English isn't my first language, and I'm still learning. Aren't we all? When I, 26 female, was 2, my parents had another child who we shall call Emma. Emma's smart, disciplined, and a very kind person. She's my family's favorite.
Ouch. I love the another child. Kind of like a subtle diss instead of sister.
Had another child,
right?
Yeah, not my
it's
sister.
It's
that's
like
a good catch, bro.
It's like
wow, that's a good catch. I come from a very rich and known family in China.
Oh.
We have several company and properties, so that's why everything she wants is always given, while I had to do the extra chores just to get allowance.
Wow.
So they're rich, and OP is still getting still has to wash the floors
Crumbs
that his sister walks on.
She's hoverboarding over it.
Oh, that her sister. Sorry, her sister.
Her sister.
Yeah, that her sister walks on. Yeah, he like it's like with those curlers. You know, when you're like when they curl the thing and they have the sweepers right behind, right in front. He's sweeping right behind.
Love that.
Or she's sweeping right behind the ground she
Love
walks
that
on.
Actually.
When I was 14, I was given a red pocket for Chinese New Year. Emma also got one. When we opened it, Emma received a bunch of red bills. If I remember correctly, she got 12 red bills, signifying they want her to have a prosperous new year and hope that money will never be a problem for her. While I only got 6 red bills. I cried, saying it's not fair. As punishment for my tantrums, my parents took my red pocket and told me to go to my room. I remember being comforted by Emma, and she even offered to split it in half, but I declined and told her to leave.
Oh, well, that was sweet.
Yeah. Emma sounds like a total sweetheart.
Yeah.
It's the parents that are the issue here.
Yeah.
It's a classic case of the parents favoring one child.
Did I stutter?
Parents are favoring one child, which actually makes the other child resent that child, not the parents.
100%.
It's been that way since every Chinese New Year. Emma always receives 12 items such as gold and money, and even receiving blessings and praises from the elders, while I, the eldest, always got a smaller amount. And as I grow older, I received a smaller and smaller amount due to their excuse that I was getting old.
Inflation's tough out here.
I know. John's only getting 1 gold piece.
Yeah, dude. I'm struggling.
Anyways, 2 years ago, for the Chinese New Year, my family went all out for Chinese New Year and even went as far as to give all the employees a red pocket that was very thick. When my grandfather started giving every grandchild the red pocket, everyone but my sister got one. Everyone but my sister. So
inverse?
The tables have turned?
Maybe?
It was suspicious, but I didn't care. My grandfather called for Emma and told her to take this. He handed her an envelope, And when she read the contents of the envelope, she started celebrating. Turns out she didn't just receive a letter full of red pocket notes,
Oh, no.
not some more money. No. She received way more. Turns out she received 12% of one of the companies my family owned.
Whoa.
12%.
And to put that in context, if this is a wealthy family, if the company is worth even a few $1,000,000, you're getting 12% of a few million.
Yeah, even a few $1,000,000 bucks. Yeah, if you're
Easily a
poor,
few
it's just a
million.
few million.
Oh,
John, what, a couple $100,000 company ain't enough for you?
old rich white man John over here with his outdated POVs.
Freaking Monopoly, man. Yeah, just a pesky few.
I'm the Monopoly
Yeah,
mascot.
dude. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, but like, most likely it is a few $1,000,000
Yeah.
based on the wealth of this family.
100%.
All right, really quick. What do we think of this situation so far? There's much more to the story, but so far, breaking it down, do you think OP is being treated unfairly by their sister getting 12% of a company and OP getting nothing, even though OP is the eldest child, which I believe in a lot of cultures, China included, means that you
Are typically favored.
typically favor.
Yeah.
Except maybe in the case, like, this is, traditional gender roles and stuff, but except in the case of like a firstborn boy, but they're both girls.
Yeah.
So that's what doesn't make sense to me too.
Yeah.
My question is, what year was OP born in versus her sister?
Oh, was her sister like the year of the dragon or something?
Yeah, I'm a dragon,
Nice, dude.
so
I'm a rat.
I don't know what I am.
I could be totally wrong.
you're born the same year?
No.
1996 and 1997.
Damn. I'm sorry.
But okay, so and are you specifically asking is the sister being unfair or is like the
No, do you
the
think
elders of the
do
family
you
being
think
unfair?
OP is being treated unfairly?
Yes, absolutely. I mean
Yeah.
just like pure dollars and cents. She's getting like 12% of this company, a lot more like money, gold, other gifts, like pound for pound, dollar for dollar. The sister is getting more. She is being treated unfairly.
Yeah, and I guess the family is like, oh, she is just better in every way, and that's why she's getting it.
Dang. That's tough.
You're
All
an
right.
ox.
Oh, I'm an ox. Let's
What am
go.
Am I a rat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a rat,
Woo!
but you're a sexy rat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that rat. It's so cute.
It is cute. No, it's sexy.
See, like I would rather it be a mouse. Like at least a mouse is cute. That looks like a cute little
But
mouse.
who killed the most people in the world? Rats with the bubonic plague.
That's true.
That's you, buddy.
I don't want to
That's
kill
you.
people.
But you did.
Aw.
For context, in order for me to receive extra money for my school, I started working at the company. I learned everything that I needed to learn. I started projects that benefited the company. I did everything to boost the sales, yet all my efforts were not rewarded. Instead, they gave Emma the rewards I deserved. I saw red that day, and not the good kind of red that you get one of those pockets.
Exactly.
I lashed out at everyone, questioning why I didn't receive the shares, that it was not fair, and Emma didn't deserve the shares. All right, to OP's credit, I think this is bad, right? This
Yes.
is like super mean.
Yeah.
But it's like, Papa, I want the company. My sister doesn't deserve it.
It does-
It is me, Papa.
It like sounds bad.
It sounds bad.
But in actuality, like, and to the best of our knowledge, maybe the sister doesn't work there at all. It sounds like OP has been there putting
in the work.
Yeah. It's like if they gave me the rights to the sawmill and didn't give my brother anything.
Yeah,
He
that would
works
be
there.
no. It would be like
Oh.
it would be like giving your younger brother the rights to the sawmill and you nothing.
And me working at the sawmill?
And
Yeah, and you were working, dude.
It would be like you working at the sawmill for as long as you did, and then your kid brothers getting, not even Tate, your kid brothers getting the
Oh,
sawmill.
dude, the Kid Brothers?
And you
Yup.
got nothing.
You get nothing.
Oh, that would suck.
Right?
Not the Kid Brothers.
Not the kid brothers. Yeah. Kid brother.
Uncle
Cousin
dad? Kid dad?
My emotional outburst was met with criticism. My father got up, and slapped me.
Oh my God.
Told me I was an ungrateful child, and screamed at me to get out of his house.
Jesus.
What if, conspiracy theory, what if it was like, all right, Emma, you're getting 12%, and OP, all your hard work, you're getting 20. But OP didn't let them finish.
That's true.
No.
No?
No.
I have a conspiracy on top of your conspiracy.
Yeah. Throw it on top of me.
What if OP is an affair baby?
Oh.
And the dad said, I will raise her. However, I am, this, the real daughter, that's my real daughter, and I'm not going to give her any special treatment. And that was the deal.
That is such a good conspiracy theory. I'm on board. I think that's real.
I'm with that.
Because
with
why? It goes against all other logic. Like
exactly, because like in most cultures, firstborn
favoring the firstborn, or simply just getting the company. That's like a classic thing to do for the firstborn.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board. Put I see you in the comments if you think that's what's happening. Also, by the way, Riley, I love this.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
I haven't seen your face in a while.
I know
Nice.
it makes me very happy to be like when you're saying something. I'm like,
we put a mirror so we could see each other. By the way, guys,
it's DQ.
Beautiful.
So he screamed to get out of my house, or he screamed to get out of his house, as he does not want an ungrateful child to stay at his house anymore. So I left. I didn't even pack. I just left and drove off. So 2 years passed, and I moved to another country. I didn't contact any of them, nor did they contact me. 2 years. Imagine you leaving, your family doesn't even say a word. I didn't bother to find out what happened after I left. All I know is they basically disowned me. It was ridiculous to disown me just because I lashed out at them, which is like, even if you lash out, if a kid lashes out at their parents, you don't disown.
No, not at all.
Like it's just like, this is unfair, and then leaves. Like, yes, maybe someone could see that as childish.
Yeah,
but you don't disown over
the
that.
crime doesn't fit the punishment.
No,
in the slightest. Super egregious.
No,
super egregious.
No. Well, on February 2nd, my father emailed me asking for my attendance at Chinese New Year at their house. When I read the email, I cried.
Oh.
But not for the reason you think.
Okay.
There was nothing else. Just asking for my attendance, not even telling me they were sorry. I had a mental breakdown that day, and he even took 2 days leave at the company I currently work for. I didn't respond, and now 3 weeks later, I received another email asking me to visit China to spend time with them, even offering me to pay for my tickets and allowance. I'm hesitant to reply. I want to go back to China and spend time with my gong gong. I guess that's like grandma.
Nana,
Baby.
Gong
Mimi.
gong. That's kind of cool.
Gong
Gong gong.
I love
Gong
that.
gong. Should I go back? So, should I go back? And there are some edits
Oof.
and a thick update. Like this story is far from over.
This is big.
There's a lot of juicy twists and turns.
Yeah.
There's a lot of juicy twists and turns. But before we get into the relevant edits, the relevant comments, and the juicy thick update, should OP go back? So we've gotten 2 emails now. There has been no admission of any kind of wrongdoing on OP's.
Yeah, this is really hard. Like, I kind of don't blame OP. I think there's been, and we kind of got like a highlight reel of the history of their interactions, but it sounds to me like the OP's just been treated terrible their whole life. Do you know how old they are right now?
26.
26. I mean, 26 years of being like treated so unfairly, and then this like ultimate moment of your own dad slapping you in the face, telling you to get out, that you're disowned. Like, I could totally see OP wanting to go no contact with them, or low contact or no contact with them.
Yeah. And to be clear, Emma is 24.
The sister
So
Emma is
she
24.
could be Chinese year, because I'm like 23, so it could be the Chinese year thing.
Oh, here, wait, really quick.
Yes.
24.
If she was born in 2000.
Like, you two could be born in the same year?
I think we'll get some more information on that. But
I see.
What your conspiracy theory is she was born in the year of the dragon, which is why she's getting all the special
Like preferential treatment.
We don't know whether
Interesting.
what year she's born yet.
Yeah. I think you always ask me, like, what would I do? I think I would go back. However, I really don't blame OP for not going.
But
I think they've shown their character.
Her reaction to the email, having a mental breakdown.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's another thing to consider.
Yeah.
Well, Riley is completely right, because like I can only imagine going into this Chinese New Year is going to be emotionally tumultuous.
Yes.
Like if an email is having her go into a mental breakdown, imagine what confronting
Seeing them.
and From everything that we've seen, they're not gonna treat her with respect.
Yeah.
You know, they're not gonna say sorry.
So maybe you write back and you break down everything. Like, this is how you've treated me. The only way I would even begin to consider coming back is if you gave me a full apology and you promised me like all this stuff. Then if I feel you are having a true apology that is sincere and will actually help mend our relationship, I will consider coming back.
I think there needs to be a like FaceTime, Skype conversation.
Yeah.
Face to face over online.
Yes.
Face to face
on the interwebs.
Yeah, before you go over.
Totally.
Like the air needs to be cleared.
Yes, 1,000%.
I think the apology should happen before you even go over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But again, this is not where the story ends. There's a lot of juice to squeeze.
I don't know if I'm ready, Sam.
There's a lot of juice. This is a really interesting story too.
Yeah,
I feel like
it
we're
is.
getting a lot of like interesting cultural information.
100%.
My family is very strict, so my emotional outburst was seen as a defiance. One of the questions from the commenters: how do you know that they hated you? OP responds: my father fired me after I left and banned me from stepping foot at the mansion. Damn, they're rich.
Yeah.
And the companies we owned. I was also not allowed to visit any properties. Damn, they rich.
Bruh. And they banned.
And they banned.
Disowned.
Yeah. They can't step in the foot in the mansion or any of the companies. That's basically everywhere.
I would be like, where does OP even go?
Yeah.
You want me to fly back?
They left China.
Yeah.
It was so. Well, I think this is before.
Right.
This is before when they initially banned. My mother told her friends that she wished she never gave birth to such a defiant child. I cried at her words because how could a mother wish her child did not exist? My brother blocked me on his social media account, but I saw his final post before blocking me, and it said, "Do not contact my name. She is not our family anymore. We have no more ties with her."
Posted about that?
Essentially, all of their mutual friends and family to ostracize her. Emma was also mad because she thinks I look down at her. My aunts and uncles and cousins decided to not talk to me. So basically, I was completely excommunicated.
Oh.
And there is a little minor update before we get into the big update. I responded to the email and sent them the following question and message. Why did you contact me? What is your purpose for contacting? How are you and the family? That's all I asked. I will give an update if they contact me again. We have another edit with a little mini update. My father responded to my email saying he contacted me because he missed me and he was apologetic for how he treated me and wanted to reconcile. Well, I sent another email with a link to a video call and told them to call me at 2 p.m. Chinese time. In the call were my mother, father, brother, Emma.
Good point.
I'm allergic to this story. And my grandparents from the paternal side. We gave each other basic greetings and talked about what was happening in China and my life here. But I got tired of small talk, so I started asking why my efforts were never rewarded and why they were always strict with me. And I got an answer. In our culture, being born in the year of the dragon was a lucky thing.
Whoa. Whoa.
No shot.
Yeah, you got it, Riley.
Riley called it.
It means you will be blessed and always dominate whatever field you work in.
Yeah, you're the dragons. Where you at?
Emma was born in the year 2000, so that's why my paternal family saw it as an auspicious blessing and decided Emma should be around the company more as she may bring more blessings. It basically explained why she always receives 12 items, while I only get what they give me.
12 because the year is like every 12 years it recycles.
Also, just saying, since Riley came on,
the
company's been doing well.
We've been blessed, yo.
We've been blessed.
We've been blessed.
We are blessed with Riley's dragon presence.
That's right.
I never fully hated Emma, but I admit there is a feeling that will sometimes arise when I feel that they prioritize her over me. As for me, it was not planned back then. My parents only wanted a single child, a boy. I was born 3 years after my brother, and although they cared for me, my parents had a hard time loving me as they saw me as the extra child. I asked them why they had Emma, and they answered that Emma was going to bring blessings to our family. They wanted a baby in the year of the dragon. And I broke down and screamed that it was not fair that I was their child too. Which, yeah.
1,000,000,000%.
This story is about to get even juicier,
Yeah.
but you know what's red and juicy?
What?
that subscribe button.
We should eat it up and smash it.
Smash that subscribe or follow button if you're on Facebook.
Thank you.
My mother and father broke down, saying they were sorry and if they could turn back time, they would love me more. They said it broke their hearts to see one of their children grow without them overseeing my progress. They regretted not being at my piano recital and not being there when I graduated from high school. I cried saying it's not fair that I didn't get a happy childhood, and basically at that point, everyone started crying. I asked why they did not reward my efforts at the company, and my grandfather admitted that his views were outdated and he did not want me to get any position at the company, but he apologized, saying he broke my heart with his actions and told me if I moved back, they would give me the position of director.
Oh.
I know what you're thinking. The company is going downhill. That's why they want me back. But nope, the company is still strong and provides a stable income.
Huh.
The call lasted for 1 hour, and basically we talked about the family, how my life here is, and even that I went to a Taylor Swift concert at Australia. My parents was happy that I was happy, so they offered to buy me floor tickets at a Taylor concert in Singapore.
That's a big one. Singapore is a
Bro.
big one because of the
Floor
Super Bowl.
tickets.
That's crazy.
Do you know how expensive that is?
I mean, that's got to be
15.
15 each
15K.
or
Yeah.
15K a seat.
Yeah. Easily.
Wait, can you look that up, Riley?
Yeah. I'm putting money on it.
ChatGPT.
Oh.
I think it could even be more.
25?
yeah, that
I
for,
think
yeah,
it'd
for
be-
the VIP.
Look up
tickets.
Taylor Swift. Like what do
much?
Taylor Swift concerts in
How much?
Singapore cost for floor tickets?
Was it Singapore or Japan?
They were offering the Singapore ones.
1800 it's saying?
I mean, still expensive.
Yeah.
Tickets start around 1,600 and go up to 8,300.
There you go. Per ticket. And this is did they offer 2 floor tickets for OP?
The most expensive ticket was $95K.
Wow.
But I guess 2, yeah.
Wow. My mom told me that Gong Gong misses me and to come visit him in Shanghai. She even told me she'd pay for my tickets and hotel just to visit them. I accepted the offer.
Oh.
I know. How could I just forgive them like that? But honestly, I miss my family,
Right.
especially Gong Gong. So I'll be flying back at the end of February. So I'll give an update once I get back.
Wow.
And there is an update. April
Wow.
10th, 2024.
Recent.
That happened 8
Recent.
days ago.
Recent. Mere days ago.
Recent. But before we get into that update,
Yes.
I do have some relevant comments. But I would love to know in the comments, how do you think it's going to go when she goes back to China? And I wonder what do y'all think?
What's your predictions? I mean, I am definitely feeling that the family's on the right track, and if they continue this like in this lane, that it could be great. However, I am skeptical. I'm also like, what made the change?
Yeah.
Where did this change come from? Right? I mean, to me, there's like almost no context to it.
I think it's extremely important
Yeah.
to know what the reason for the change is.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important because is this change coming out of a need?
A scarcity mindset.
Yeah. Is it coming out of a scarcity mindset or an actual desire to reconnect? Is it coming from, oh, Emma actually doesn't want to run the company, so we need someone to step in, and that's why we want you back?
Yeah.
Or is it coming from we realize what we did is actually wrong?
Yeah.
And how after 2 years did they finally realize it? Like what clicked? I want to know what the journey was.
Yeah. And I really want to know what Emma thinks about this because the grandfather, this was a very old traditional mindset. How does Emma feel like, oh, you only favored me because I was the year I was born in?
Yeah. Also, it was a unanimous decision of the family to excommunicate OP.
And to bring her back because
So
most people are on the call.
what's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
Unanimous.
Bro.
Do they know what unanimous is? Because they don't live in a democracy.
What are you talking about? Every decision in China is unanimous.
Yeah, because one person says so and everyone has to follow it.
Yeah.
So it's
So
they're all about
they-
you.
they-
So
So
all-
it's
they're
one
all
person
about-
making the decision. It's a grandpa.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, what did you say, grandpa?
Oh, I wonder if it is like the patriarch of the family is making all the the calls.
Yeah.
Like is Gong Gong the evil mastermind puppeteer?
Dude,
Yo.
Gong Gong pulling the
Oh,
strings out
Gong
here.
Is Gong Gong pulling the strings?
Bro.
I think he could.
Gong Gong the boss.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Gong Gong is like gone, and then they're out of there.
Or back.
Well, let's see what actually happens. But before we get into this juicy, thick update
Mm.
that happened recently,
Yep.
let's get into some of the top comments.
Talk about
So, Present Background 56 says, I'm sorry that you've been treated this way. Clearly, you deserve better and much better from the family. I'd guess that they want something from you that only you can provide related to finances, medical/health, and perhaps something else. These people have already shown you who they are. Nothing has changed. If they want to see you, then they can come to visit or agree to a neutral location. If you're curious but want to protect yourself, suggest a virtual meetup. They'll make it happen if they want it badly enough. Yeah, is there something that maybe they're trying to like trap her in China? You know? Is there something weird going on?
Yeah, I feel like
there?
it could be something fishy.
Or, okay, this is a big conspiracy theory. In How I Met Your Mother, Barney Stinson has like this job, and his job is basically to sign all the papers of like the illegal doings of this company and essentially be the fall guy if the company is like illegal actions ever catch up to it. Are they trying to put her in place so she is taking responsibility for any shifty behavior that the company has engaged in?
Yeah.
Is this like a fall guy?
I feel like I feel like it could have something to do with the company, and they need OP to be the fall person, the worker bee, like something along those lines. Like they need to essentially use OP for something for the family's benefit. Yeah, that could definitely
I can't
be the
imagine
case.
OP is not being used.
Yeah.
I also think, I just think it's risky to go back to China
Yeah.
without understanding fully everything.
Something just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
We don't
Well-
know all the information.
But let's get back to reality and get to this update after one more comment. Old Meal says, do not go back. They want something for you. You have moved on from that life, so stay moved for your own sake. And Queen Legolas says, don't go back. They'll probably want something from you, possibly an organ. That's crazy.
True.
Emma can't have kids and wants you to be a surrogate. Someone is ill and they need you to be a live-in maid. It could be anything. Block them all. None of them deserve you. Don't tell them where you are. What you do, nothing. Could be someone is terminally ill and they expect you to forgive them and then will emotionally blackmail you.
Oh my gosh, I want to know what's happening.
And there is an update.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even think about the organ thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The black market organ trade in China is like, wow.
Big.
Money's
Yeah.
up.
Money's up, dude. Dude, you can sell a kidney for like
And you guess how many you have?
2.
Ooh,
It's called investment
1, 2,
capital,
3.
baby.
100 extra 150K could go a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
We
Buy
We
some
got
new
healthy.
cameras.
We're pretty healthy boys.
We're healthy boys.
We could do it.
Riley doesn't drink. His kidneys are great.
Dude, that's 100K.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a 100K kidney right
Dude,
there.
right there.
100K
100%.
kidney. Also, I just realized we're talking about kidneys, not livers.
100%.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, how
Yeah.
many kidneys do we have? Wait, we could silver
Dude,
off
you
a
mean-
kidney.
We still have 2 kidneys.
Well, I thought we could like cut off a little bit of a kidney, give it to someone. No, livers. That's what you do with livers.
You can do it with livers. I don't know. You might be able to do it with kidneys too.
No, we have 2 kidneys. That's what I was talking
We have 2
about.
kidneys, but I think can you cut off half a kidney?
Oh, but you meant about the alcohol thing with kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. I see.
No, it's
Doesn't
more-
doesn't have an effect. I don't
I
think.
actually don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
We're not doctors, but we are Reddit story readers. So
Yeah.
let's read this update.
Do our thing.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for patiently waiting for an update. Here is what happened. I met with my family at a hotel in Guangzhou, and we had a heartfelt talk. I tried not to speak with my parents and siblings, but they kept asking me things about my life abroad and what I work as. My aunt may have seen my discomfort, so she told them to let me eat first. I admit it was quite awkward since, to me, the pain of rejection and betrayal is still fresh. Well, when we were done eating, we started having a conversation. My aunt encouraged me to speak my heart out and tell me all the wrongdoings that were done to me. After I was done, I was tearing up. And luckily, we were in a private room, so I cried my heart out that night. And my cousins comforted me and fed me mooncakes.
Yummy.
The same cousins that excommunicated you?
Yeah.
Ops.
The night
ops.
ended with all of us crying. Overall, we had a slight reconciliation. Emphasis on slight. They asked if I wanted to go back home, but I declined, saying I had a plane to catch up to. They were shocked, thinking I'm already going back abroad, but I said I was going to visit Gong Gong. My mother told me to postpone the flight so our entire family could visit Gong Gong. I agreed, so I canceled my flight. I booked a hotel as I didn't want to be back in the place where I was humiliated and betrayed. I spent my remaining time with Gong Gong, which was 2 weeks. But during our tea, he gave me a folder and told me to open it. And I got the surprise of my life. What do you think the surprise is? Riley, what do you think?
Probably something to do with the company stuff, like 20 or giving Emma share. Emma share.
It was a legal document that contains half of the company my Gong Gong owned. He told me that life keeps screwing me over. It's not accurate, but it's what I interpret it as. He told me I deserve all the success I achieved, and he is giving me full control over the company he owns once he passes, or when I'm ready. I cried, and my family was happy for me. And overall, I finally felt that I'm needed and appreciated.
Wow.
Anyways, the entire trip was too long for me to share everything that happened, so I'm only writing the important events. Thank you all for your support and kind messages. It helped to see the bigger picture and guide me to the right path. And there are some final relevant comments and some edits, but really quick, what do we think about Gong Gong giving OP full control over this company?
I'm happy that OP is getting these things and hearing these affirmations like you deserve everything from your hard work. I'm still like, why? What's
changed?
What's changed?
What's changed? That's what I want to know, because, like, what if OP's the fall guy?
Yeah.
Like, you give control of a company so that OP can be put in jail for the company's misdoings.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
They're like about to be sued by whatever, like the equivalent of
Forget
the SEC.
Forget sued. Freaking, like, Xi Jinping will like, he did what?
Yeah.
Xi Jinping just imprisoned Jack Ma.
Yeah.
Jack Ma wasn't seen for. Jack Ma is like one of the richest people in China. Was abducted and just not seen for months because he got too powerful, and Xi Jinping wanted to do like a show of force.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Allegedly.
Like China, they'll just imprison you.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Insane.
the smoke might be coming for OP, and they're like, oh, well, now that you are like legally the front face.
Yeah. Take the smoke. That's what I think.
But you know, it'd be so crazy. It would be even more sinister and cruel, given that they were all like comforting her. Like, I don't think it said they were crying with her, but like
they were crying with her.
Like they would have to kind of like fake that in a way to get her to do this, which is even more freaking evil.
Yeah, and like, would they actually do that?
I'm not saying your theory is wrong, but
it could be that they are actually sad about it, but they're like, hey, this is what we need to do. Like, what if they are sad? They're crying because, oh, we're throwing our sister under the bus again.
Yeah. They feel guilty, but they're doing it anyway.
They're doing it anyway.
Whoa.
I want to know in the comments what y'all think. And also, if you know anyone in like a traditional family like this, like, how does it play out?
Yeah.
But there are some edits where we get a little bit more context. So edit. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your comments, but I would like to clarify one thing. My Gong Gong is the only one who supported me these past 2 years, so I assure you there's nothing suspicious with his actions. So that's a little bit better. So Gong Gong maybe isn't pulling the strings.
So Gong Gong didn't tell her to leave and banish.
No, it seems like Gong Gong was supporting her throughout this entire time while she was separated from the family.
Wow.
OP on the Taylor Swift tickets. The Taylor Swift tickets they were offering in Singapore, which I did not attend. And yes, my paternal side has multiple homes. However, my paternal grandparents live in Guangzhou, while my maternal family lives in Shanghai. And top comments, BHV Niet says, I smell a rat. There is something going on with the business or company that you are not aware of. I cannot believe that in just 2 years, your whole family had a change of heart after going to the extent of disowning you. Nah! I think you need to find out what is actually happening in your company. What has prompted them to give you ownership of half the company? To me, it seems like a trap, which is what we've been saying. Trick Delivery 4609 has a final comment. I am worried about you. Either the family knows you are inheriting half/all of the business, and that's why they're being nice all of a sudden, or worse, you are being given a bad business with a lot of debts. Check in with a lawyer or private investigator. Take everything they say with a grain of salt. I would agree. Tread lightly, OP.
She has a another subreddit in Ask a Lawyer or Legal Advice. Can I hire a lawyer to represent me in China if I'm currently living in another country?
Oh.
So
smart.
like their username, they just posted about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did they post?
8 days ago.
Wow. This is like happening in real time.
Yeah.
Did OP respond to any of those?
I think no.
You can look up
not
OP
yet.
responded. You could filter by OP responded, I believe, if you look at like newest. Or
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. She has another post. Am I the a-hole for not giving up my spot in a Taylor Swift concert?
That's funny.
But no, she didn't. She hasn't responded to any of the legal stuff yet.
It seems like we might be able to get an update on this soon.
I would be excited. This was This is an incredible story.
Yeah, I think what I like about this is we read a lot of stories from like America on like
that's
family dynamics, and I think this is giving like an insight, one, to a family that is uber wealthy.
Yeah.
And so the dynamics of familial relationships change when a lot of money and power is involved.
Mm-hmm.
And two, we're looking at what it looks like to be imbued with a lot of cultural restriction and a lot of like heritage and history and honor and all of these things that can make familial dynamics stressed and complex. And like OP is caught in the middle of one of these things, and it's kind of, I mean, it's sad for OP, but incredibly interesting to voyeur into.
And is this the end of the story so far?
End of the story.
Wow.
So far.
Oh my.
So we don't know, is OP going to accept? Is OP going to go to China and go back and take over the company? There's so much that is left up in the air.
I've never felt a seemingly on the surface happy ending and been so uncertain about it.
My thing, though, she's doing good for herself. She was able to get tickets to a Taylor Swift concert in Australia at 26.
Yeah, she's probably, I mean, she's wealthy.
Probably killing it.
Yeah, she probably, whatever her position was at the company, she's probably making bank doing it for whatever company, wherever she's at right now.
Also, I have a suspicion that, like, when she says allowance, it's like $50K a month.
Yeah.
It's like something like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because like it multiple companies, multiple properties, well-known family in China. If you're a well-known family in China, you have money.
Yeah.
You have money.
It was that versus like, oh, she's just being given it, but they're like, oh, go like clean your room and then we'll give it to you or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And it's like, okay, we'll clean your room and then we'll give you $50K.
Yeah,
like
I'll clean my room for $1,000
Yeah,
an hour.
I honestly think that is on the scale of the money she's getting.
Even as a child?
What?
Yeah. Dude, okay. Okay, story time. So I was going to open up an English school in China when I was like in junior year of college. And so I taught in Hangzhou for a little bit. And the kids were total little brats, but were given everything. The amount of money these kids spent in a week, and they were like 12 and 13, was thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars. And they're like one of the well-known families in China, so they're like hanging out with like all of the politicians and the gangsters in China, like had a fundraiser with like Yao Ming. So like they were super centralized, but the amount of money that they gave these kids was obscene.
And it's a case of like they're not like, well, maybe they are writing out a check, but it's just like they just have like their parents' credit card basically and are going crazy and buying stuff.
Yeah,
and all that.
I mean, and I had an ex's mom that was the assistant to a Saudi Arabian prince, and my ex would hang out with the prince's daughters, and they would go to Rodeo Drive and just like drop $80K in a purse, and they would be like, "Oh wait, do you want anything? Why don't you get something?" And she was like, she was wealthy. And but she's like, I don't have $80K to drop on a purse right now.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like when you get to a certain level of wealth, you have just an obscene amount of disposable income that to the point where you are completely blind to the fact that people don't have that money.
Yeah. Absolute insanity.
Bonkers.
Wait, what is this backstory you just told us?
Yeah, actually, that was two of the most insane, like, okay story times of all time.
Like I thought you just like got this out of your ass. I'm like, there's no way
No, dude.
You taught kids like that? What?
And Hangzhou. So when we were teaching, we did such a good job that they wanted us to move to China for 5 years to open up an English school for the Chinese elite, and we're going to fund it. But the thing is, like, when you open up a business in China, a Chinese person has to own the majority of the company, so you actually don't have control of the business. And we were fearful that if we open up this school, we might make enough. Like, what is common is they like lead foreigners on with like a golden carrot, and will always give you just enough to survive, but not enough to like leave. But we had like a business plan and everything. We're almost going to move to China to start this business.
Who's we?
Me and my ex-girlfriend.
Oh my.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've maybe heard about this once or twice very briefly. I feel we know most of each other's like backstories, but this one I haven't gotten like the full download on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely
Wait,
nuts.
how long ago was this?
2017.
Wow.
Absolutely nuts.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Wow. Insane.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Hangzhou is beautiful too.
Also, that sounds like the beginning of like a great TV show. It's like these two kids that are like, oh yeah, we'll start this English school, and then you end up like with all the.
Well,
like,
that's what was so interesting because we were thinking like we either wanted to do that or Peace Corps.
Why are you laughing, Riley?
No, how the fuck do you have those options at 21?
It
Peace
is
Corps or
Everyone has the option of doing the Peace Corps. She actually applied to do Peace Corps, but COVID messed it up.
Oh wow.
So she was going to do it. She had been accepted, and then COVID canceled.
Now she has no peace.
She has no peace.
wow. But look at you
she's
now,
married
5
to
years
a
later.
50-year-old.
That is like such a completely alternate
Yeah.
Sam timeline, bro. The
I was
Sam,
close.
the multiple universe. What is it?
Multi-dimensions.
The multiverse.
Yeah, the multiverse of Sam becoming the teacher or running this like teaching business in China is a crazy different timeline, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Crazy different.
Yeah.
I was learning Mandarin too.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Mandarin?
我会说一点普通话。两皮脚.
What can this man not do?
Right?
Oh my god.
That probably, to anyone who actually speaks Mandarin, that was probably garbage.
We're like, oh,
Whoa. I'm speechless. I'm so speechless right now.
well, you know it's a cure for your lack of speech?
What?
Me speaking this next story to your face hole.
Let's get it. My sister is destroying my family. She said choose between my wedding or your sister's graduation.
No.
I, 23 male, am one of 7 kids. Too many kids. There's Lydia, 31 female, Josh, 28 male, Leo, 25 male, me, then Aaron, 21 female, Nadia, 18 female, and the surprise child, Lexi, 4 female.
This is going to be so easy to follow.
Oh my God, so many people.
Dude,
With
John.
that many siblings, it's easy to get lost in the crowd. I'm lost in the sauce already. Some of us have our positions, so to speak. Lydia, the oldest. Lexi, the baby. I have a kid. Yes, that's my descriptor. OP gave us a grandchild. OP gave us a
It's
grandchild.
like OP gave us a grandchild. That's like what people say.
OP gave us a grandchild.
Like that's what the family, like the parents say. Like OP's the one. OP's the one that gave us a grandchild.
Yeah, I have a kid. Yes, that's my descriptor. OP gave us a grandchild. Aaron is the golden child. There's always one. She was the last planned child, the one supposed to tie up our family. It's like when Quentin Tarantino says that's gonna be my last movie, and then surprise, new movie.
True.
She was born premature, so I understand that my parents coddled her to an extent, but it's more than that now. By the way, this comes from Brother Conflict on the Best Redder to Update subreddit. So, Erin's getting married and recently told us that she's brought the date forward due to a cancellation. No big deal. It just means they're getting married sooner. But now the new date lands on the date of Nadia's high school graduation. Erin was sympathetic, but she said she's already committed to the date. They've printed the invitations. My parents normally go overboard on our high school grads, but they said they'd have to miss Nadia's. So Nadia's going to not have a high school graduation, really.
Oops.
We were all sympathetic, but it wasn't intentional. Or so I thought. But Nadia later told me and Leo that she was there when Erin got a call about the cancellation and told Erin that she was graduating that day, but Erin just laughed and accepted that date anyway. So literally Erin's like, oh, that's your high school graduation? I don't give a crap.
Wow, the golden jerk.
This is, as much as I hate to admit it, it sounds very like Erin to do. She booked her engagement party the night of Nadia's 18th birthday. Luckily, she wasn't celebrating until the weekend. She announced her engagement at my oldest sister's wedding anniversary.
Lydia.
Everything is about her. I confronted Erin about this, golden child, and she said that Nadia's high school graduation didn't matter. Gross. She wanted to get married to the love of her life sooner. Isn't that what matters?
Aww.
And our family had been to plenty of high school graduations at this point.
Oh my gosh.
She said something like, "We still have Lexi."
Oh.
But here's what gets me the most. Nadia's been looking forward to this for so long.
Oh.
She's watched all of us celebrate our graduations and have these huge celebrations thrown by our parents. I asked Nadia all right, and if you've heard this one, strap in because there's some big updates coming.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you haven't heard all of it because this is thick.
Oh, yeah.
I asked Nadia what she wanted, and she said she wanted to have her day. So I told my family that me and Nadia won't be attending the wedding.
Whoa.
Leo has also dropped out. Everyone's angry. Erin's furious, and I didn't make it better by telling her that I could watch our other siblings get married. How do you like that freaking taste of your own medicine? Ooh! Since it's all the same in her eyes. Mom's trying to convince me to come to the wedding because graduation isn't as important, but I feel like if I don't do this, then it sets a precedent in Nadia's life that she's always going to mean less than Erin, which would be effed up. I've had messages calling me an a-hole, an idiot, etc. They're telling me to step up and be a good brother, but that's what I'm doing.
Ooh.
My son is supposed to be the ring bearer. But with how my family is reacting, I'm considering pulling him out of the wedding too. My dad has told Nadia that he'll take her to dinner after the wedding. Nadia is currently staying with me because mom won't stop cornering her. Am I the a-hole? There is a juicy update.
Oh.
There's a lot more. In fact, there's like 10 parts to this story. It's a doozy. But John, is OP the a-hole for picking the graduation of Nadia over the wedding of Erin, the golden child?
Listen, Nadia, the high school grad, is just wants to be celebrated, this once in a lifetime thing. But Erin is the golden jerk.
The golden jerk.
So she will try to get her way and be a jerk about it, which is exactly what she's doing. OP's not the a-hole because otherwise I don't see
Who's going to stick up for Nadia?
No one's really standing up for Nadia the way that OP is, it seems.
Yeah, and at least, like, I think the good thing about a big family is at least you'll get some support, Which it seems like now OP is leading the charge for Nadia getting the time and attention she needs to.
Yes.
But we got another update. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's get in to update 1. It's 2 days after D-Day, and I finally come bearing an update.
Ha!
I've had to condense it quite a bit because a lot has happened. Before I started, Nadia wanted me to thank everyone who congratulated her on her graduation. She was overwhelmed by the support you all gave her, especially after she faced such opposition from our family. So let's get into it. Last Friday, Leo and I went to speak to our parents and Erin. I wanted to tell them that I'd be pulling my son from the wedding, the ring bearer. Our older siblings ended up turning up as well, so it was us 4 standing up for Nadia. So it's like 4 united against the golden child, Erin.
I like that.
Leo had spoken to them the night before and helped them see things more clearly from Nadia's eyes. Apparently, it didn't sink in with them that Erin chose the date intentionally.
Knew it.
Which we learned a little bit earlier because Nadia overheard the phone call of the wedding getting pushed forward, and the person was like, "Hey, it's on this date," and Nadia was like, "Hey, that's my graduation," and Erin did a and laughed and said she didn't care.
Ow.
There was a lot of yelling. Erin accused me of trying to sabotage her wedding. Our parents tried to convince me to let them take my son to the wedding, but I stood my ground. I felt a lot stronger with my older siblings there. There's only 2 years between me and Erin after all. I'm not much of an older brother. Luckily, Lydia was there. Her words carry more weight as the eldest, and she didn't give Erin or my parents room to argue, and she told them that Erin chose the date intentionally. Admitted as much in front of me and Leo, and that this was normal behavior for her. Lydia told them that if they continued to favor Erin so blatantly, the rest of us would go no contact, and Lexi would likely follow in the future. Wow.
Damn.
Our dad started yelling. Not at us, but at the golden child, Erin.
Gotcha.
Surprising.
Sucker.
I've never seen him so angry before, and to see it directed at Erin was shocking. Our mom asked us to leave. We didn't hear from anyone on that side until Monday when Aaron's fiance, George, asked to meet us at our parents'. Aaron's fiance, George, John.
Whoa.
Aaron's fiance, George,
Wow.
is now in the picture. Is it not crazy that Aaron's fiance, George, is here?
Crazy.
He asked to meet us at our parents'. And he apologized to Nadia. Aaron's fiance, George, is apologizing to Nadia, the high school graduate.
Huma.
He didn't know that the wedding and graduation overlapped. Nor did he know that it was something Aaron did on purpose. Our dad was the one to tell him. What followed was a long talk between us during which we all aired our grievances. I told our parents that we all felt that they valued Aaron more, that none of us mattered to them compared to her. Her artwork always went up on the fridge. Ours went in the drawer.
Disgusting.
In the trash.
In the garbage. Where it belonged.
I mean, but to be fair, I guess Aaron was actually a good artist. And everyone else
I mean, come on.
I
Got
told
skills.
them that as a parent, I could never imagine treating my child like that. Also, to be fair, with 7 kids, there's not really enough fridge space to put all your art on there, you know?
All 10 of my children have plenty of space.
Yeah, you just really?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're just going to have a giant fridge or little
Correct.
tiny bits of art. Everyone gets one Post-it note.
Everyone gets their own fridge.
Oh, wow. All right.
Fridges
Richie
for
Rich
days.
John. What was the Richie Rich thing you made the other day where it's like, I'm going to buy like a 1,000 something. I forget what it was.
Oh, like 1,000
Homes.
McNuggets or
yeah,
something.
you could buy 1,000 homes with
Yeah,
that much.
Exactly.
Anyway, Erin tried to argue. She tried to tell us that we were trying to turn her into the bad guy. It's easy to do when you are.
Oh.
Trying to turn our parents against her, trying to sabotage her wedding. Our mom told her to be quiet, that it was our time to talk. George stepped in, the fiance, to tell us that he didn't expect us to come to the wedding, but we were welcome to attend the reception.
Whoa.
He went so far as to say he wished he could have canceled the wedding altogether, but it only cost him more money that he'd spent by bringing it forward. So I feel like George, the fiance, is trying to like work things out, you know?
Good boy George is doing good.
Yeah.
But
And you know
evil
what?
Aaron keeps going.
I think like he could have shut off like all of these accusations and stuff and not listened, but good boy George was curious. He was a curious George,
This is true.
and he's not swinging from accusation to accusation. He's making a very intentional choice and move.
And he loves potassium.
He loves potassium. He loves to eat those bananas.
Mm-hmm.
He loves surfing, maybe with Jack Johnson. He loves
Why
banana
not?
pancakes.
Dude, delicious.
There's no combination of mine that you put in a thing. I forget the lyrics.
The man plays it every day.
I know. I used to play it all the time, too.
Oh.
Mom's willingness to hear us out lasted less than 24 hours. So I think Mom's switching sides. We're getting some flip-flops.
Oh.
I think Mom was against Aaron and now back on. So by Tuesday, she was begging us to reconsider. Apparently, our feelings meant nothing in the fate of Aaron's dire stress and the fact that people would be questioning our absence on the big day. I haven't spoken to my mom since, but I did ask my dad to bring me some of Nadia's things because she is going to be staying with me full time. We have officially gone no contact with our mother.
Whoa.
Too soon, too late. Is it great? What do you think?
Let's debate. She is evil mom of evil Aaron.
Yep.
I think it is possibly too soon, although we don't know this. Is this really the straw that broke the camel's back here? Is this like after so much of like Aaron's golden child era and all of the, you know, like basically this type of instance happening 1,000 times before? I don't know that we have enough context now to say that that's the case, but with the knowledge I have right now, I'm saying it's don't go no contact yet.
Yeah, I'm feeling like no contact feels like a little bit too intense. But we also haven't lived with a whole life of mom favoring golden child. It could be like a case of finally the whole family is realizing like, wait, yeah, mom did treat Aaron different than the rest of us.
Yeah.
But Dad took Nadia out for an early graduation celebration on Wednesday. They had a daddy-daughter date, and I think she really needed that. He apologized for a lot of things and told her he wanted to do the same with the rest of us, but Wednesday was about her. I'm happy she got that one-on-one time with him. She was happy coming home to me. In our sibling group chat, she said that she really thinks Dad is going to mend bridges with us, even if Mom won't. Dad also turned up early yesterday morning. I'm talking 6:30 a.m. to give Nadia flowers.
Oh.
He told her that he was proud of her. George even called while he was getting ready for his big day, George, the fiance,
Good boy.
to congratulate Nadia. So George is taking time away from the wedding to congratulate Nadia, something that I don't think Aaron's going to do.
Absolutely not.
Nadia really appreciated that. But guess what? They didn't hear from Mom or from Aaron.
They're both evil.
Our paternal grandma ended up coming to the graduation with us. It was a great day, like a really great day. We didn't think about the wedding, didn't think about Aaron. We just had fun together at the graduation. That's what I'm talking about. My son got to wear his aunt's cap and gown and nearly drowned in the fabric. Our grandma tried on the cap too. We took photos and sent them to our dad, who posted them in a Facebook post he wrote to congratulate both Aaron on her wedding and Nadia on her graduation. And we laughed about how it must have pissed off our newly wedded sister. We went out for dinner, and we as siblings gifted Nadia money for a week away with her best friends, which is something somebody suggested in a comment on the initial post. That's awesome. That's a great, I feel like that's a great high school graduation gift.
Agreed.
I texted George my congratulations. Despite everything, I do hope he and Aaron are happy together. While she might not love us, I don't doubt that Aaron loves him. Yes, she wants her spotlight and her moment, but I don't think she's marrying him just for that. That's good. Bringing the wedding forward, sure, that's a hugely malicious tactic to bring herself more attention. Marrying him for the sake of having wedding, she isn't that type of narcissist. At least we know how far Aaron's going to go.
Yeah, she's evil, but she's not that evil.
And also, I like that OP's like giving grace to Aaron.
Which is honestly an important thing that we do not often see with the people in these stories.
Yes.
We need to give a little grace sometimes.
Reddit is a petty place.
It's important.
As of right now, I plan on staying no contact with my mom unless she makes some big changes. I'm confused where I feel like OP is going no contact with Mom as harshly as Aaron, and it feels like the mom hasn't done as much as Aaron.
Yeah, again.
Well, but it's like the years of
it might be the years of that. We might be getting some context we don't know about.
Yeah. I plan on staying no contact with my mom unless she makes some big changes. This is a sentiment shared not only by the majority of my siblings, but is also encouraged by our dad and grandma. She's tried reaching out to me and my partner, mostly berating us for not attending the wedding and accusing us of planning to keep her grandchild away from her. At that moment, our summer looks busy. We're planning on filling it with as many things and outings and family outings as possible before Nadia leaves for college. We've also got Josh's 29th birthday to plan. Our dad's even joining in. This might cause a bigger rift between him and Mom, but for now, at least it looks like we're his priority. Lydia's threat really did something to him. So Lydia, big sister, basically saying we need to support Nadia.
The oldest in the alliance.
Thanks everyone who left comments on the original post. I know they really cheered Nadia up when she was worrying about whether or not she was doing the right thing by choosing herself. By the way, there's more to the story. There are more updates. We are far from done. Part of me wishes we could have taken this stand earlier, but it took us a while to find our voices. Looking into the future, I do see 2 empty spaces at my own wedding, but I also see 5 siblings cheering me on, and I'm happy with that. And there is another update 5 months later.
Ooh.
Riley, how many updates are in this story?
Oh, let me check.
But what do we think about so far? It almost feels like a happy ending.
It seems like it. I think that evil Aaron and evil Mom, like the last episode we just recorded, have more gas in the tank, and I think that this is just the beginning of their reign of tyranny. That is my prediction.
This is the beginning.
That
it's
is
going
my
to
prediction.
get worse. How many, Riley?
2, but the last one is ridiculously
We have
long.
2 more updates.
Yeah, dude, the last one I was scrolling for a solid 15 seconds.
Oh my god!
And I'm on a 5-line scroll per thing.
All right, buckle in, y'all. Update. Update 2. It's about 5 months since I've last posted. And I've had some requests for an update, so I figured I'd sit down and write one up. Bear in mind, a lot can happen in 5 months, and that's definitely true for this. Let me start off with July. Aaron and George went on their honeymoon, and their absence sent our mom into a frenzy. She wasn't used to having no one around. Someone was always visiting, mostly Aaron, but the rest of us would visit out of obligation and see Nadia and Lexi. With Aaron on her honeymoon and the rest of us no contact, Mom had no visitors, and she really did not like that. Literally the day after Aaron left, she started getting bombarded with phone calls. She tried convincing Nadia first, which Lydia thought was a strategic move because Nadia is the more timid of all of us, thus more likely to be persuaded. When Nadia turned her down, she turned her sights on the rest of us. We all got identical phone calls with her trying to persuade us to go visit her, to understand her, to see things from Aaron's perspective. She even brought up the circumstances of Aaron's premature birth. What? How old is Aaron?
She is 21 years old.
So you're bringing up something 21 years ago?
It's been over 2 decades.
Come
Mom.
on.
Come on. Get over it. Get over it.
And how it was a miracle that she was even here. Josh told her to do better with Lexi. Lydia, the oldest, blocked her number.
Whoa.
When the phone calls didn't work, she started turning up at our homes. She continued spewing much of the same crap she had over the phone and before the wedding. She did not understand what she'd done so wrong, why we were treating her like this. She called me ungrateful and disrespectful. She accused us of harboring unnecessary jealousy towards Aaron and that she loves us all equally. I did not respond to these comments. I was just trying to prevent her from going inside and saying the same things to Nadia. I feel like right now we're witnessing the beginning of an unraveling.
Oh, yeah. It's going to unravel, and then the whole tapestry is just going to wither away.
Really quick.
Yes.
Do you take any effort to keep it raveled? Or do you just let it unravel? Do you
let it unravel? I don't
know if I would have the courage, honestly, to let it unravel, because I think if this was happening to my mom and I saw that me going no contact, that was it was making her spiral and making her that desperate, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I think I also love my mom a lot, so
yeah,
it would be hard.
We're not at the point, but I think what we are quickly approaching, I think mom is about to earn her no contact, in a way that we would both be okay, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like that's where we're headed. I don't think we're there yet, but it feels like that's where we're headed to me.
And saying same things to Nadia, who is with my partner and son in the living room. Her comments didn't deserve a response, and when she was done, I asked her to leave as calmly as I could. But truthfully, I felt a little like crying. But who wouldn't feel crappy with their mom yelling in their face like that, trying to downplay years of pain and calling it unnecessary jealousy? My siblings and I have been let down time and time again. So we're getting the backstory of why I think they're going no contact with the mom.
Yeah.
By her and her dad ever since Aaron was born. They missed out on so many things over the years, both big and small, but we had one thing that they never missed, and we were happy with just that one thing. And that was our high school graduations. But they couldn't give that to Nadia. All we had were those high school graduations. They missed Josh's college graduation because Aaron broke her leg. It was an accident, I get that, but they never made it up to him. They never celebrated this huge achievement afterwards, and he just had to grin and bear it. Our mom didn't turn up to my partner's baby shower after making such a huge fuss about it because Aaron didn't want to go and wanted them to get their nails done together instead. But our jealousy is unnecessary. Sorry.
Oof.
I don't know how I managed to stay calm when she was yelling at me, but I did. Asking her to leave made her switch tactics, though. Also, so effed up that, you miss a baby shower for getting your nails done.
The dumbest thing ever.
Dumbest thing.
Evil mom, evil Aaron. I said it.
I don't know how I managed to stay calm when she was yelling at me, but I did. Asking her to leave made me switch tactics, though, and she started calling out for my son, trying to coax him to go to her. Like, here, little boy, come to me. Mommy's got candy. Grandmommy's got candy.
Shut up, evil mom.
Dude, she sounds like an evil witch trying to, like, lure Hansel and Gretel into
That might be what she is. We don't know.
Trying to coax him to go to her and telling me that she had a right to see her grandson. Dude, she's slipping. She's slipping.
Come on now.
My partner stepped in then because she was seething and took my place at the door. Mom yelled some more, but she left when my partner threatened to call the cops. I feel like once you're starting to get the cops involved, that's when you really can tell it's unraveling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My mom repeated the song and dance with my older siblings, but similarly got nowhere with them. John, then came the Facebook post.
Here it is. Facebook.
We're getting the tea right out on Facebook.
Now it's really going to go downhill.
Yeah, dude. The amount of Facebook drama that we see in these stories is, I mean, kind of great. But then came the Facebook posts. Indirect rants about ungrateful people and how shocking it is that some kids could turn against their parents so easily.
Ugh.
Erin somehow got involved while on her honeymoon and called Lydia to scold her for being so mean to our mom. But as I've said before, Lydia is angry. Lydia is angry and she's had enough.
Talk about it. Saying she's old.
Whatever she said to Erin prevented her from calling the rest of us. Dude, Lydia's sticking up.
Been through it.
There was then a Facebook post, always a Facebook post, about how much it hurt to be kept from a grandchild. Now, there were no names mentioned, but there is only one grandchild. That is my son.
Boom.
My mom's sister called me. There was yelling. I blocked the number. I know Dad was trying to convince our mom to just leave us alone because this is only going to damage the family more. He kept apologizing because she just wasn't listening to him. Erin came home after 2 weeks. Also, really quick.
Yes, sir.
This whole thing happened in the 2 weeks that Erin is gone for her honeymoon.
Dude, this is insane.
That's what's crazy is this is unraveling that fast. In 2 weeks, the mom is going down like all of these crazy rabbit holes. So, Erin comes back. She tried reaching out to Lydia again, asking for us all to talk because this is a quote from Lydia. Clearly, we have some issues to work out, which is not wrong, but that's not like
it's not.
That's not the vibe.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
We did not turn up. Erin was very angry at that because she's not used to us turning up for her. Now we're going to July. July wasn't all bad, though. While our mom was on a rampage, our dad was still trying to do better by us, and he's improved a lot. In July, he and I went out for a meal together, just the two of us, and grabbed a drink, and he apologized. It wasn't a generic apology either, that he could have repeated to all of us about how he's sorry that he hurt us and neglecting us. But he brought up specific instances that he wanted to apologize for. He thought back on all those years and picked out moments that he wanted to apologize to me for. I know he did the same for the others, but having him apologize for things like canceling a fishing trip because Erin needed him was something I wasn't expecting.
I like
W
that.
for Dad.
Yep. W Dad.
And I never really cared for fishing, but I wanted to go on that trip because I always saw it on TV, you know? Yeah, the classic dad fishing trip.
Right.
I'd always see a dad and his son fishing together, and I wanted to have that. Sophia Callan says the mom has a codependency issue with Erin. What is wrong with her? I think that's definitely what's happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely
It's
what's
her
happening.
only evil ally left.
I'd always see a dad and son fishing together. I wanted to have that. I wanted a dad to prove that I was a priority to him somewhere deep down, but it didn't happen. And so I never asked again. But we went fishing in July. What started as a trip between the two of us soon grew into a family day out when my siblings expressed interest in going fishing too. My brothers first, then Nadia, and even Lydia, who hates the smell of fish. Dad brought Lexi, and I brought my son, and it was great. It was one of the best days of my life. I suck at fishing, but I'm pretty great at collecting seashells. It was brilliant. Our parents did end up arguing when Dad went home. I wasn't there, so I don't know every little detail, but from what Dad told me, the argument was mostly because Mom didn't understand why we were still in contact with him and not her.
Evil mom, you don't get it.
She found it insulting that we were repairing our relationship with him. She was angry that Dad wasn't pushing us to forgive her or why he wasn't stopping us from acting out. She was angry that he didn't extend an invitation to her and Aaron for the fishing trip, and she was even angrier when he explained that their presence would make us uncomfortable. Josh turned 29 at the end of July. We booked an escape room for the 5 of us siblings. Then we met our dad and partners for dinner that evening. Josh introduced us to his new partner for the first time. All of our attention was on Josh. The day was completely about him, which was the first for our family. Then there was a party thrown for him by his friends, which I came out of with a massive hangover, which sounds like great.
Good
Sounds great. But I feel like it's not going to last for long.
Oh.
Mom started giving us the silent treatment in the middle of August. I mean, well, good, because you're going no contact.
It worked out.
It's like, hey, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And then it's like, fine, I'm not talking to you. Like,
Great.
good. That's what we wanted. Dad moved out in September. So Mom started giving us the silent treatment in the middle of August. Dad moved out in September.
Divorce, conspiracy theory.
Divorce is coming.
I see you.
While we were getting the silent treatment, Dad was bearing the brunt of her anger, and it really took it out of him. He was trying to do better by us, and she was trying to villainize us. And he ultimately told her that if she didn't take accountability for her actions soon, then he'd be contacting a lawyer.
There it is.
Mom didn't take him seriously. Don't mess with Daddy-O. He's been staying in Lydia's guest room since. Mom doubled down and said that he was blind for not seeing how we were manipulating him. Unlike the rest of us, Dad obviously still has regular contact with Aaron, and according to him, she's even told Mom to reconsider. Oh. Even Aaron, the golden, terrible child,
the evil
is telling.
Aaron.
It's also crazy how this all started with Aaron.
Right.
And now it's all gone to Mom.
We always, throughout the story, we find the real villain. The real villain is hidden in the shadows because they're a mischievous, evil genius.
Yeah.
Like evil mom.
And it's also like with the golden child stuff, it's actually not the fault usually of the golden child. It's the parents for making the golden child think that this behavior is normal.
Who made them golden in the first place?
Yeah. Who painted them gold? Fool's gold, I say.
And they abused the crown.
And they abused the crown. They did. Unlike the rest of us, Dad obviously still has regular contact with Aaron, and according to him, she's even told Mom to reconsider. And unsurprisingly, Aaron's involvement is what got Mom to relent, so maybe Aaron's turned the tides.
Okay, evil Aaron.
I'm not sure if she's thinking about how she's treated us or if she's silently stewing. I know she asked Dad if he's going to move back home, but he said that it was better for them to have space right now. Personally, I'm struggling to see an outcome where our mom sincerely admits that she was in the wrong. I think she'll say it just to get Dad back in the home and the rest of us talking to her again, but I don't think she'll ever hold us to the same level as Aaron. In brighter news, there's officially less than a year left until my own wedding.
Let's go.
Currently, there is no place for Mom or Aaron. My partner Jade and I are having our fathers wear ties that match me and my groomsmen, something I originally didn't plan to do. But I'm happy with the change. Nadia's settled in at college. She's made some new friends with kids in her classes, and she's enjoying it. Heck yeah. She's happy. Even though we have an active group chat, she FaceTimes me every few days just to talk. Most of what she says, I've already read in the group chat, but I'm always willing to listen to her stories again. Nadia never used to talk this much. She looks a lot happier now than she did 5 months ago.
Oh.
I think that's everything. It's not. There's much more to this story. We are almost halfway through.
Yeah, this next update's ridiculous.
Almost halfway through. I'm sorry for the novel, but like I said, a lot can happen in 5 months, and we got a new update. So really quick.
Yes.
What are your conspiracy theories about what's going to happen next? Do you think
I got some.
Mom and Aaron, are going to be all chill and stuff, or do you think things are going to unravel?
I think evil Aaron becomes good Aaron. I think evil Aaron will see the error of her ways.
The Aaron.
She's her Aaron. Aaroner.
Aaron?
I think the mom she was the shadow villain. The one.
She was the shadow villain. Yep.
Pulling the strings, the puppeteer. We've pulled the curtain back. We know that she's the big evil villain. Yeah, I think that the dad's definitely getting divorced. 100%.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I agree. But I think all the siblings are going to get closer.
Yeah, the alliance will go stronger.
Besides I think Aaron.
Aaron is going to turn. Evil Aaron is the only one.
I think Aaron's going to turn good.
Yeah.
Mom's going to turn evil. Dad's going to divorce mom.
Because you have the baby, the high school grad, and then all of the other older siblings are in an alliance together. Yeah. It's just evil Aaron that's been evil so far. What do you think that, first of all, do you agree with my theory that evil mom will get more evil?
Yes.
What do you think she'll do?
Well, I think she's going to unravel. I think when the divorce happens, that's when she'll go full nutso.
I'm gonna take my
because her support system is gonna be gone.
Yeah, I'm just gonna borrow my conspiracy theory from last episode and say that she kidnaps the baby. The only
dude, we know how the grandmas love those little babies.
They love the kids.
They love stealing those babies.
But also, mind you, by the way, here's a crazy thing. The age difference between the kids is oldest is 31, youngest is 4.
Oh, so
there's
maybe
a crazy age gap.
Maybe
baby Lexi
and also gets stolen by the grandma.
That's a better
by mom,
theory.
And then is turned against them like Anakin in Star Wars. OP's mom is Emperor Palpatine.
Yes.
And she's trying to corrupt the last good Jedi.
That's a much even better theory. That's it.
All right, back to reality. Update. Get ready, y'all.
Do it.
So, it's been about 7 months since my last update. And a lot could happen in 5 months. No, even more can happen in 7 months.
Yeah.
And I thought one was well overdue. I actually intended on sitting down and writing one out a few months ago, but life got in the way. A lot has happened, most of it good, some of it not.
Ooh.
I'm sure you can guess what or who the reason for the not good moments were. So, mom was silent through Lydia's birthday in October, but made a huge song and dance for errands in November. None of us make a habit to check her social media accounts, and honestly, we'd have blocked her if it weren't for Lexi. But Leo sent a screenshot in the group chat about a post she'd made. The post essentially painted Erin as the perfect child, her precious angel, and said how she'd always be proud of her. She didn't even mention Lydia on her page at all during her birthday. But I can't say I'm surprised. Thanksgiving was different but fun. We all drove to our paternal grandparents' place a few hours away to spend it with them. Technically, it was supposed to be an in-law year since Jade and I tend to switch who we spent it with so that neither one of our families were being left out. But she suggested we switch it up this year so that I could be with my siblings on the first big holiday since the fallout. My in-laws are great people and have been really supportive throughout all this, and I'm really grateful for them too. Mom didn't reach out to us on the day, but I could tell she was fuming. It didn't help that she was being asked questions after Lydia posted a Thanksgiving Day photo that didn't include her or Erin. Yeah, so I guess this is one of the ways that the mom is unraveling.
Sowing the seeds of destruction.
In December, she started a group chat with all of us, and Dad essentially telling us it was time to stop this petty drama and focus on family. Wait, so
good dad.
Oh, no. So Dad is not saying that.
Oh. He's just in the group chat.
He's just in the group chat.
Mom saying, hey, evil mom saying, let's stop all the petty drama. Yeah.
But none of us are stupid.
Ha!
We all know she wanted to show off her picture-perfect family over Christmas. And how could she do that when all but 2 of her children can't stand to be near her?
2 of her 7.
Yeah, dude.
And one of them's
better
4.
than nothing. Yeah. Erin was in the group, but didn't speak up, which was odd for her. But none of us really thought much of it at the time. Dad said he'd swing by to see Lexi, but had no interest in spending Christmas with her until she was ready to admit the pain they'd caused us.
Wow.
A week later, my birthday also went ignored by her, but that was fine. It only proved that she had no intention of admitting that she was the bad guy. But she got more desperate as Christmas drew because, John, picture perfect Christmas.
She wants to show the evil mom never lets the world know that she's evil. See, she lets the world think she's the greatest mom ever when only 2 of her 7 children want to be with her.
Also, TLDR for Tina coming in as a wee stick in the chat.
Here we go.
So basically, I think I can condense this into like 2 sentences.
Go for it.
So OP is 1 of 7. Erin was the golden child, always loved and adored by the mom. Then Erin had her wedding intentionally planned the same day as Nadia, one of the younger kids, as Nadia's graduation. And then OP figured it out from Nadia and was like, hey, we need to support this graduation. This is the only thing that our family really like comes to bat for, because everyone else all the time is focused on Erin. And then basically breaks the glass ceiling or so.
The ruse.
The
mirror
ruse.
house.
The mirage has faded, and now all of the children and the dad start to realize that there has been intense golden child favoritism for Erin, and now are kind of like shutting out the mom who's still favoriting Erin, and the mom is crumbling. Crumbling.
Horde.
Big time. Big time. She got more desperate as Christmas drew closer. The messages and phone calls started up again, but I could ignore those for the most part. What I could not ignore was coming home from work to find her on my doorstep.
Oh, dear.
She told me she'd been waiting for ages. Like I was expecting her visit and had done it intentionally, which honestly I probably would have given the state of our relationship. So basically she stood up the door. She's like, what took you so long to get to the door? I've been waiting here for ages. And Opie's like, what are you talking about? You just showed up.
Oh.
I'm just grateful my family wasn't at home. Jade was on her way back from work herself, and our son was with their parents. I didn't want to invite her inside, but honestly, given how desperate she looked, I also didn't want to deal with her where my neighbors could see. This woman told me that Christmas was about family and was about forgiveness. She told me I was taking it too far by keeping her grandson away from her, and how confused he must be without her. She said it was like I was using my son to punish her. I told her, it's better this way. Because we all knew what would happen if Erin had a child someday.
Ooh.
My son would be pushed to the side like the rest of us were.
Child liver.
And I did not want that for him. She said I was being ridiculous and once again used the line, I love you all equally. Bullshit!
Lies!
I asked her to leave because nothing was changing my stance. And I was not going to be spending Christmas with her. Not at all. She got angry. She started yelling. And while I want to say I kept my composure, I didn't. I started yelling too. The more I yelled, the more worked up I got, to the point that I started shedding tears. Reddit, this was years of hurt rushing to the surface. I don't think I will ever understand how she can claim to love us all equally, but tell her crying son to stop being so dramatic. She left only when Jade came back and saw the state I was in. Jade's little but fierce and would do anything for me and my son, and I swear my mom left terrified of her that day. So Jade is OP's significant other.
Yeah, that's right.
OP's wife.
OP's boo.
The social media posts picked up again. She played victim. Shared posts about children not respecting the sacrifices mothers make for them and stuff like that. She posted how we didn't appreciate all that she had done for us, but we all ignored it. We did our own Christmas. Jade, our son, and I visited the in-laws on Christmas morning, watched her son and nieces open their parents there, and then went over to Lydia's house, the oldest. She offered to host us all this year. Dad took place in the kitchen, joined by his assistant chefs, Josh, and Lydia's husband. We didn't see our mom and Erin until January. Now we're going like another month. I love how we're going through all of these like months. Like it just gets crazier and crazier.
I'm just flying through the seasons. I
Yeah.
see it all.
We didn't see our mom or Erin until January. Lexi turned 5, so there was a party, and we weren't about to punish our sister for the actions of the demon that birthed us. So we went. There were some questions, but people didn't push when it was obvious that none of us wanted to get into it. Mom acted like everything was fine, but Erin stayed away from us. At the end of the party, as we were helping clean up, Mom said it was good that we were finally putting things behind us. Not on my watch, Mama.
Why is Mom here?
I mean, that's not what's happening. That's
No,
not at all what's going to happen.
Literally not at all.
At the end of the party, as we were helping up, said it was finally putting the things behind us. Lydia told her the only thing that we were putting behind us was her.
Oh, ice cold.
Is that too harsh?
Again, I mean, we're getting more of the background, and it's like, and it's been very heavily mentioned or referenced. We don't know the specifics, but basically it seems like the mom has treated everyone like this whole life. Mind you, listen, Lydia's 31, right? She's the oldest. So she's lived with the mom being this way the longest and has seen it the longest. Probably from the day Aaron was born, prematurely, Lydia saw her mom acting like this. So of almost 2 decades.
There's a lot of pent-up anger. I feel like a lot of people in chat and comments would be like, deserve. I feel like, honestly, just for our own self-preservation, like, you don't need to stick
it's too
the knife.
Harsh to
Well, you don't, like, if
you're twisting the knife at that point.
If you twist the knife, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make someone scream, and then you're gonna have to deal with that. You know, and it's like why do this? You know, now you're gonna like ruin the peace, and it's not like it. Like, what does that accomplish?
Truly,
it doesn't accomplish anything but her being hurt more.
It does accomplish a bar.
It is a bar.
That's the one. That's the one thing it accomplishes.
That started her off again, but she quickly realized she was outnumbered and headed inside. That was when Erin approached us with her husband. Honestly, I was expecting her to tell us to go easy on our mom or something, but instead, she apologized. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking since all of this started, and she realized that she treated us badly her whole life. And part of that was influenced by the way our parents treated her. She told us she didn't expect us to forgive her, but that she just wanted to tell us she was sorry. We left a little while later. There was silence at the end of January and February for Leo and Nadia's birthday, but we were expecting that. Our days never did matter to her after all. I got married in April without my mom present.
Whoa.
It was hands down the best day of my life, second only to the birth of my son. Jade and I were surrounded by the people we cared about most and who cared about us in return. I had both of my brothers as my best men. Nadia and Lydia were bridesmaids too. It was better than anything I could have imagined. Honestly, I'm still blown away by the fact I now get to call Jade my wife.
Aww.
It's been amazing. But I'm sure you're all wondering how my mother handled this. And I can tell you plainly that she did not handle it well.
I believe that.
Everything that we've learned, that tracks. Truthfully, when we sent out our invitations, part of me hoped the news just wouldn't get back to her. I hope it would go smoothly enough that I wouldn't actually have to talk to her about this decision. But of course, that would be too easy. She showed up a few days later, banging on my door, demanding I talk to her.
Here's Johnny.
I went out. I didn't let her in, despite knowing that neighbors could see us, and that was solely because I didn't want her inside my home where my son is. I didn't want her scaring him like that. And that's undoubtedly what she would be doing. She demanded to know what I was playing at. How could I be so cruel? How could I exclude her from such a special day? I told her plainly that my wedding was a day for me.
Ooh.
To celebrate with my close loved ones.
Ooh.
OP's about to drop another bar.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I'm going to read it again.
Talk to me.
My wedding was a day for me to celebrate with my close loved ones. And she wasn't someone I considered close or a loved one.
Dude, what? Oh, man, dude. This is a family of poets.
OP is going in.
We need them to be
this
like
was a rap battle, like career ending.
Bro, this is 20v1.
Oh yeah, dude! All the family's like, sheesh, bro.
Oh my god! Wow, dude. I mean, yeah. Again, like it's just like you could still communicate what you need to with that. It's a bar. It's a
bar.
We have fun, and it's who.
But is it the kindest thing to do that's going to lead to the least drama in your life? Like sometimes I think, like, all right, what's the kindest thing to do and what leads to the least drama? And this is like, this gives you more pain and is not the kind thing to do. You know?
Yeah.
So like, it's a bar, but is it a bar?
You know your mom is going to go crazy when she hears this.
and I don't consider her a loved one anymore. She had made her bed, and she has to lie in it. Part of me worried that she'd turn up at my wedding. She came by the house a few more times, but stopped when I threatened to call the cops. This is sad. This is sad.
Very sad.
I didn't do it sooner because I guess I'm a softie at heart. I didn't want to see my mom in any trouble, but every time she showed up, she spewed some BS about me being a terrible son for doing this to her. It drained me. There were social media posts, of course. I had relatives reaching out to me to tell me I should invite her. What kind of son am I, etc. But they stopped when I told them I'd take back their invites too. No one mentioned her at the wedding, and she didn't try showing up. She did, however, try to prevent Lexi from being a flower girl, like I promised, but Dad quickly nipped that in the bud.
Nice.
Which takes me to the next point. My parents are officially over.
Also called that.
Dad sent her divorce papers.
Woo!
Okay, like, I understand. Makes sense. Dude, she's gonna spiral. This is gonna be bad. She has no support system. All of her kids cut her off.
She's got the
and her
4-year-old
husband,
Lexi.
which will be bad for the 4-year-old.
Exactly.
Or now it's 5.
Yeah.
True.
But she already parentified one child, why not another?
Dad sent her divorce papers sometime in February, and I don't think he's looking back at all. This is something that also shocks me because this time last year, he was much the same as she was. He was someone who cared more about Aaron than any of us, someone who brushed off our achievements if they somehow interfered with hers. And now he was an advocate for us, which I think goes to show you can change.
This is true.
You can actually if OP's mom had the same character arc as OP's dad, this situation would have been completely different. Like it's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to keep making them.
Yeah. Although I will say for the kids, and it's great and it's a beautiful thing, and they've all it seems like they've all forgiven him and it's built their relationship in such a beautiful way. But also I could see a hard thing to forget. You still live they still have the pain of the past. So, but I'm so glad that it's worked out so beautifully with the dad at least.
But every time Mom posted something on social media belittling us, Daddy-O responded with something uplifting us. I never imagined having such a good relationship with my dad, but here we were. We helped him move into his own place back in March. He's a new man, honestly. He's worked out a 50-50 custody agreement for Lexi. As much as he'd be happy to have full custody, he wants to believe that she can change like he did. He has said, however, that if he ever catches the slightest hint of Lexi being mistreated like we were, he'd be filing for full custody. In the case of my siblings, life has been going good for them too. Leo got a raise at work and has adopted a dog that my son is obsessed with. Also, there is a third more to this story.
Yeah.
We're not done.
2/3 done, guys.
We're in it.
Oh, baby. Are you guys in it with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in it.
I'm
locked in.
I'm
You're
in
locked
the thick of it.
In the case of my siblings, life has been going good for them too. Leo got a raise at work and has adopted a dog, and my son is obsessed with it to the point that I think we may need to get a dog ourselves. Josh and his partner are going strong. He fits right into our family, and I couldn't be happier for Josh. He's found someone that he really cares about him, and he can tell he's in love. Maybe there will be wedding bells soon.
Ooh.
Lexi's 5, so there's not really much going on in her life. I think she's recently made my dad join her tea party.
Adorable.
Quick edit to add. Lexi's obviously aware that things have changed. She's naturally confused about it all. Things change so much in the space of a year, and I can't imagine what that's like for her living with her parents when Mom is angry all the time. We've let her know that we'll always be there for her and that we're a safe space if she needs to talk about her feelings or if she has any questions to ask. We don't want this affecting her more than it already has. Josh is the only one who's made headway on that. He works in childcare and has experience in things like this. Dad is thinking about setting up therapy for her, but I'm sure you're all wondering about Nadia and Aaron. Nadia's great. She's honestly thriving. I think being away from our mom and Aaron And the pressures at home has really helped her find herself as a person. She's made new friends, is excelling in classes, and she's just an overall happier person, which is all I care about. She's happy. I'm happy. She's been invited to move in with my dad now that he has his own place and enough room for her and Lexi, but she hasn't decided on an answer yet. She's more than welcome to stay here if she wants, but I know that she also wants to be closer with her dad. I'll support her no matter what, and I've told her that she can try it with dad if she wants to, and she can come back if it's too weird for her. Aaron, though, is another story.
No. Our prediction must stay the same.
We are no longer no contact with Aaron, but we are low contact.
Okay.
After her apology at Lexi's party, Leo reached out to see if it was genuine. All of us were pretty stuck on what to do, to be honest. Aaron was never someone to bow her head and apologize, but how could we know if it was genuine and not a ploy to get us to forgive our mom or something? Aaron asked to speak with us in person with Leo when Leo reached out to her, and we agreed because we were curious to see how it go. We also agreed that if she tried anything, we would be leaving immediately and would block her again.
Okay.
The meeting happened in mid-January between Lexi and Leo's birthdays. We met at her place. Aaron looked like a nervous wreck, like she hadn't slept all night, and honestly, it was really weird because she's normally so put together. Like, even when she was throwing tantrums, she looked better than this.
Dang.
We sat
Evil
down.
and gorgeous.
Evil and gorgeous. We sat down, and she started off by apologizing to us again.
Whoa.
She said that she was needlessly cruel and unfair to us, especially Nadia, and even apologized for trying to ruin her graduation. Okay.
Whoa.
What'd I tell you?
Character development.
What did I tell
180?
you?
She said when we all backed out of our wedding, she was confused and hurt because none of us had said no to her before. She thought we were close, and we just wanted to be as far away from her as possible. We asked her questions, and she answered every one. Why did you think we were close? Because she'd been acting this way since childhood, partially encouraged by our parents' treatments of her versus her, and assumed that since none of us said anything about it, we were fine with it. Did you ever feel sorry? And she said she didn't before this whole fiasco. It was normal for her to be the center of attention. Everything was always about her. She was trying to unlearn that. Why now? It came down to her husband. He tried talking to her a few times about her treatment of us, but she never saw an issue with it since, well, we never made an issue about it before. He didn't like that response, but he loved her, and she was a lot kinder outside of our family unit. So he hoped that if he kept talking to her about it, she'd eventually stop. They fought when she announced their engagement on Lydia's anniversary, and they fought again when she booked their party on Nadia's birthday. He couldn't understand how she could be so cruel to her family, and she told him that he didn't understand our family dynamic and that we were cool with it. The stuff with Nadia, so like basically like Aaron's like, you just don't understand my family. They love when I'm the center of attention.
You don't get it.
You don't get it. That's just our family being like our cute, cuddly family.
Good boy George got it.
The stuff with Nadia's graduation. Also, yeah. W boy George, Caitlin Van Campen, and go
Come
George, Halia Bain says, yeah, honestly, George is a W. Like,
W George.
He canceled us out.
George
Aaron's
W.
terribleness. George W.
The real good one.
Mission accomplished. The stuff with Nadia's graduation damn near ruined their relationship, and I don't know how she convinced him to stay with her because George admitted he was very close to walking out the door. So George was curious about leaving. She said she was on our mom's side for a while because she really did think we were just acting out. We'd never been like this before, so why were we like this now? She didn't get why we were ignoring her, why we suddenly cut her off, and admittedly had a breakdown over it. George told her we'd likely been carrying that hurt and bitterness with us for years. She said that she knew she was a brat, but didn't realize how bad it was until George and our dad laid it out for her. That's why she told Mom to leave us be, so that we could have peace from it all, and it turns out Dad wasn't the only one bearing the brunt of Mom's anger. She was constantly blasting Aaron's phone, turning up at her place. So Aaron was getting the brunt of it too. Dragging our names through the mud. It got worse when Dad moved out, and suddenly Aaron was all she had in the world. Support systems are crumbling.
Going. Come on.
Mom called us awful names that Aaron thankfully didn't repeat. Mom told Aaron that she was all she had now, which is a lot of weight to put on Aaron.
Dude, a ton.
George vouched for how bad our mom was. Said he'd come home from work often to find Aaron staring at a ringing phone. She didn't want to answer, but knew if she didn't eventually, then Mom would turn up at her house. I know Erin was awful to us ever since she was born, but it really hurt seeing her like this. I think she herself was a victim of our mom's behavior. It's not the golden child's it's not the golden child's fault for that. It's really the parents.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Albeit in a drastically different way. She said she wanted to reach out to us sooner, but knew we probably didn't want to speak to her. She just couldn't help herself when she saw us at Lexi's party and needed to apologize. We parted ways conflicted. On one hand, Erin had always been selfish. She'd been manipulative and downright mean. She always found a way to overshadow us at every turn, at every achievement. Nadia's graduation was proof of that. On the other hand, she looked tired. She looked worn, and she looked guilty. And I didn't want to believe that was an act put on for the sake of getting us to forgive her and then our mother. Didn't want to believe it. None of us were sure how to proceed. But then Jane suggested that we invite her to the wedding, or rather we invite her to the reception after everyone's eaten. We had a few friends coming at that time too who couldn't attend the wedding itself due to the inescapable engagements. That way, if Erin did try to bring our mom, security would catch it, and we'd know for certain whether or not Erin had turned a new leaf.
That's smart. Great plan.
Erin attended the reception. She did not bring our mom, did not even mention her. She and George arrived, and Erin cried as she congratulated me. She told Jade she looked beautiful and hugged my son.
Aww.
At some point, she took Nadia aside, and when they came back, they were both a little teary-eyed. Nadia later told me that Erin wanted to apologize to her properly, one-on-one, and didn't know if she'd get another opportunity to do so. George thanked me for giving Erin a chance. He told me that she really could be a warm, kind-hearted person. I told him I hope to meet that version of her one day, and I meant it. If Erin is truly as warm and kind and wonderful as George believes her to be, then I want nothing more to meet that version of my sister. Now, you may be wondering, OP, you forgot to mention Lydia when you were talking about your siblings.
The oldest.
That was on purpose.
Oh.
You see, it's a good thing Dad moved out of her spare room. She's going to need that space in a few months, and she's not the only one. I knew Lydia was pregnant because she sat both me and Jade down to tell us she was pregnant and worried about her bridesmaid dress because Lydia was getting married, or because OP was getting married, or who's the last person that got married?
Yeah, no, it was OP because Lydia's a bridesmaid in OP's wedding. Yeah.
Even offered to step down if it was a problem. We, of course, told her not to be ridiculous, and we covered the cost of any alterations needed. In the lead up to the wedding, Jade told me that she planned on having Lydia make an announcement during the speeches.
Adorable.
I foolishly assumed that Lydia was going to announce her pregnancy to her extended family, and while I was a little hesitant, I agreed since Jade wanted it like this. And well, at least she'd gotten permission, unlike someone. Oh, I see you. I see what's happening. And well, at least she'd gotten permission, unlike someone would have. Reddit, Lydia made a speech about pregnancy and how she couldn't wait to be a mom, and how she was grateful to be sharing at least part of her pregnancy journey with Jade. Reddit, this was how I found out my wife was expecting our second child.
Dude, that is such a fire at the wedding.
W wedding announcement.
Chef's kiss.
Again, I wish I could say I maintained my composure, but I didn't. I cried. I was so overwhelmed with happiness that I couldn't help myself, and I'm sure my friends will forever make fun of me for it. It felt like all the crap we'd been through this past year was all worth it for that moment. To have family rally around me in an event that I'm sure would somehow have been made about Erin and her wedding if my mom had been present. I haven't spoken much about how this past year has made me feel. Truthfully, I have felt like crap most of it. I felt like curling up and disappearing. I felt rotten and useless simply because my mother told me I was. I felt sometimes like I couldn't show how I was feeling because Nadia was here, and I didn't want her to blame herself any more than she did. I'm in therapy right now, and I'm not the only one, and I'm healing. Right now, I'm happy. I'm so unfathomably happy that I can barely understand it. I'm happier than I've ever been, and I know my siblings will say the same. While our mom will probably say that our family has fallen apart, that's not true. Hers has. The family that she made has fallen apart, but ours has grown stronger. It has grown so unbelievably strong. We were united front before, but it's like now we've upgraded our defenses. We're coming out of this with stronger relationships with each other, a real relationship with our dad, and 2 new family members along the way. This is what our mom is missing out on, and it's all her own fault. Maybe I'll update you again in the future. I'm not sure if our mom knows yet about Lydia and Jade's pregnancies, but the announcement is out there. We do have her blocked on social media, so maybe no one's told her the good news. Aaron hasn't, at least. So if anything happens on that front, I'll let you know. But for now, I'm happy with where my life is. Thank you all for your support, and I hope you all have an amazing day.
Yes.
But
And that is where that story ends. But what's your but, John?
oh, but that's it.
But what if the mom comes out of the woodwork?
You never know.
I mean, if these pregnancy announcements are coming through, I think the mom is going to want to say something.
Or, I mean, listen, she had Lydia and Lexi like almost 30 years apart. Maybe mom was still got a little gas left
in the
in her,
tank.
in her oven.
And she just starts a new family.
Listen, she's probably very fertile. I mean, she has to be at least somewhat fertile.
Yeah, I mean, that pop out all those kids. Got
7
darn
kids.
cute. That's crazy.
The one thing I will say, so beautiful ending. Love how the dad came together. All the evil Aaron became good. All of these great things. But to the you made this point a few times, which I think is good, which is there was some knife twisting at many moments, and it was unnecessary. And also now looking back at it too, like it felt like kicking the mom when she was down as well. You know,
Yeah.
like. I think you can be like, yes, she doesn't like the last episode we did, OP basically said something along the lines of I love my mom and I would love her to be in my life, like the happy moments we have had, but I love my family and I prioritize their safety and well-being more.
Yeah.
And like kind of having that kind of mindset to not like twist the knife, I feel like is the only big thing maybe.
Yeah, I
missing
think
here.
that's the angel move. Like, we understand
course.
why she's feeling the need to do this, but I think if we're trying to like be the most, if you're trying to have the least drama possible, twisting the knife like that probably isn't going to do it.
And in this scenario, like, there's not always scenarios where it's like, oh, be as kind as possible and whatnot, or that's not the right way to say it. But I think in this scenario, the kindness leads to the most likely possibility of her changing around like dad did,
Exactly.
like Aaron did.
Like, I think when you kindly and calmly tell truths, your life ends up being very drama-free.
Yes.
And I don't think some of it was kind, but again, understand. And I think OP did the best they should, or they did the best they could.
100%. You're never going to be perfect, so I think this was ultimately a beautiful ending.
Yeah. But that's where that story ends and this episode ends. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you,
And see you tomorrow.